run by the gangs. The police barely go there, and if they do, they don't slow down. It is very, very run down.
Officer, help me!
Very, very run down areas with a lot of very poor people. And they're called the Barrens. And there are two primary areas that are known as Barrens in Seattle. There's the Redmond Barrens up in the northeast of the town, of the city centre, and the Puyallup Barrens down in the south. And we're going to start in the Redmond Barrens. And you're all going to come from a small area in the Redmond Barrens, so there's a good chance you will all know each other.
Right.
The Barrens... Oh, yeah, you are incredibly pixelated, DK.
Yeah, that's how I like it.
Actually, funnily enough, it's how we like it as well. So that's okay. We'll get changing it.
Let me have a look at my. let me have a look at something here. I'm going to press a button and see what this is doing.
So in the Barrens, there are areas that are run and controlled by various different gangs. There are big, large gangs that control large areas, and then there are much smaller places that have been carved out for various reasons. You will all come from a small 4 or 5 block area that is run by a fixer who is an East End gangster, an ex-East End gangster called Mr. Sunshine. He's called Mr. Sunshine because he always smiles, but he's definitely a Vinnie Jones created type character. Think Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, think Snatch, that sort of thing, which is perfect for a boxer. Primarily, he's a fixer. He owns a pub that he's called the Rose and Crown. He's carved out this little tiny area of East End London in the middle of Seattle Barrens. He is generally a very nice guy as long as you follow his rules. But if you don't follow his rules, he's a complete and utter cunt. But that's the way East End gangsters work.
Let the sun go down on
you. To the west of Mr. Sunshine's area is a large area controlled by the Yakuza. To the east of Mr. Sunshine's area is a very large area controlled by the Crimson Crush. They're a biker gang that are predominantly orcs. They do have some human and troll members as well. Both the Yakuza and the Crimson Crush look after their people. I mean, they may charge protection money and all of that sort of stuff, but they generally look after the day-to-day running of the entire areas. And Mr. Sunshine has this tiny sliver of land between these two very big gangs, knowing that if the Yakuza try and take over Mr. Sunshine's area, the Crimson Crush will see that as a declaration of war. And if the Crimson Crush tried to take over Mr. Sunshine's area, the Yakuza will see that as a declaration of war. So it's a tiny thin strip of Switzerland in between two much larger gangs. But the thing is Mr. Sunshine's very clever and he's very canny. And so he plays them off against each other, and he's maintained his patch for years.
And it's a neutral zone.
And it is a neutral zone. He advertises it out as a safe place for other places to come and talk. So sometimes when the Yakuza and the Crimson Crush need to discuss things, they will both go into Mr. Sunshine's area to do that. They will go to the Rose and Crown. It has rooms above that he uses and hires out as meeting rooms. And similarly, corporations can go there and talk to various people as well. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Exactly.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Well, you got a good reference for it then.
You got a very good reference for it. So you all start within Mr. Sunshine's patch. You may or may not know Mr. Sunshine well. You'll certainly know him by reputation if you don't know him directly. The Rose and Crown is a good place to go to have a quiet drink. There's never any trouble there.
Yeah, there's two sections. There's the down pub, which is the normal people, and then there's the VIP area, which is kind of...
He hires that out.
Yeah.
He hires that out to people who want to use it as meeting rooms.
But the upstairs area is actually a full club sort of thing, and it's got side booths,
and so
silence things and everything.
So there's a good chance that if you scrape up enough money to go and have a drink of an evening, then you'll probably end up at the Rose and Crown, because it's a quiet, well, not necessarily quiet, but it's a
downstairs is quiet.
It's a place where you can go where there's not an awful lot of hassle. There are other places, and again, if you start writing background in this area, and you need contacts are quite important in Shadowrun. You will often be left to your own devices to work out how to do stuff. So you might be asked to hit a certain company, but it's up to you to find out how to get the blueprints, how to get the find out about this company, find out what they're about, to get the blueprints of a site that you're going to. And to do that, normally you'll use contacts. And contacts fall under general groups and categories. So if you've got contacts 2, you can pick two names, 2 people that you know. And it's also good to decide on what sort of category they fall under. Things like police, corporation, gang, medic, decker, which is your grid runners, your matrix jockeys. Magic, a magical contact is useful. Maybe you know somebody who has a shop that sells magical talismans or something. Maybe you know a decker. Maybe you know a corporate secretary. They don't have to be very high up in the company, but if all of a sudden you suddenly need to work out what this company's all about, you can go and call up your corporate contact.
But I think the magical contact should be called Tam Shepherd. Because that used to be the magic shop.
Everybody.
That's an interesting use of names, seeing as my character's called Joe Shepherd, but there you go.
There you go. Hey,
there's multiple different types of magicians, and they can come from all over the city. There is a club in Redmond called Underworld, and everyone knows about Underworld 93.
So that's where we are.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
It's called Redmond, yeah?
The area that you are in is the Redmond Barrens.
Barrens, okay.
And it's to the northeast of Seattle city centre. So if anything has this, there's only 2. There's Redmond and there's Puyallup, but they're both known as the Barrens, and they are where people don't go if they can avoid it.
Okay.
But it's where you come from. It's where you live. And then if all of a sudden you decide that you want to create a doctor or a policeman or a magical contact, then we'll give them a name and we'll give them a place either in or very near to Mr. Sunshine's area, of which, of course, he calls his manor.
Yeah.
It's my fucking manor.
Exactly. This is my manor you're in there.
You slag.
You slag. So again, you writing your backgrounds will help me populate Mr. Sunshine's manor. There's another place that I mentioned to, obviously Michelle knows about, and I did mention it to James the other night when we were talking. There's a comic shop run by a guy known as Ripley. And he basically looks after a lot of the street kids. He gives them a place to go during the day, somewhere to shelter when it's raining, somewhere quiet to go. He lets the kids read the comics, and as long as they behave, he might even give them a bit of soup. So he's the nice guy for the kids. He's right up against the he's inside Mr. Sunshine's manor, but he's only 1 street away from where the Yakuza claim their area.
And he is Japanese.
He's think of sort of like Egg Shen from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
But he's Japanese and he runs a comic book shop, but he's also a fence. So if you need a fence as a contact, I'll probably give you Ripley, because he's local and you're more likely to know him than anyone else.
DK, is it your upload or bitrate or something? Because it was really... My bitrate down is 150 meg and up is 51 meg.
It's 4. Oh, right.
No, it's more like 4 kilobytes, mate. It's horrible.
I've just checked it.
You've got about 7 pixels in your image, DK.
You look like you've been made. You look like you've been made in Minecraft. Mate.
Yeah.
Except less pixels.
I think we should all have themes. I'll stay in darkness. He can be pixelated, so he can be the cyber boy.
I'll just blind everybody with the fucking reflections.
You and me both, mate.
Hold on, I'll just ping you all a message in the Doobie Doob.
In the Doobie Doob.
See my current settings.
So yeah, I mean, I guess what we can do is we can have a little bit of a round robin and go around your basic pre-human stuff that most people will know. We'll work out how you know each other, because I'd like to do that before the game starts more than anything else.
That's the bit that confused me when I was looking at things. I thought, I know what I want to be, but how do I get to know everybody else?
I want to be a lover.
Well, this is it. I mean, if you're a boxer trying to make his way,
I'm a kind of traveller. You know, it's a carny, that kind of guy. But I make a living out of doing some bare knuckle fights and doing the odd insurance work for people.
Bare knuckle fights, old school.
Yeah.
Absolutely. None of this fucking cyberware and knives and all that shit.
No, none of that. I'm just
I think we should talk about sins, because sins are very important in Shadowrun.
Not to start with, not when we're trying to.
Kind of in the sense of where you can travel and how you can travel.
Well, I was going to get to that. Traveling is not going to be very easy. The other thing about Seattle, and if you read the history, what happened is America has been carved up into a number of different countries. You now have UCAS, which is a lot of the northern states. You have CAS, which are a lot of the southern states, which are now considered a separate country. And then within all of America, a lot of large tracts of American land are now belong to the Native Americans, and they've carved out their own nations. The elves also have a chunk of land called Tirtangir, and they're considered a separate country. Now, Seattle is in Washington, and the vast majority of Washington and all the surrounding areas actually belong to North American Native American tribes as a separate country. And Seattle is a city-state that is still part of UCAS that sits alone in the middle of Native American country, which is a different country. There are literally borders that you have to cross. And this is why prices in Seattle are generally higher than anywhere else in UCAS, because everything has to be flown in or shipped in, because there are no easy road, there's no road network that goes to the rest of UCAS from where you are. So you're in an isolated city-state in the middle of the North American native territories.
So in this world where we have elves and orcs, and you've got your North American Indians, do we have people like skinwalkers and such like running around as well?
What's a skinwalker?
It's werewolf.
A werewolf.
That kind of
Native American werewolves.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Dragons exist.
To you, werewolves.
No, I'm just saying, if it's North American, Indian, indigenous, they've got a lot of mythology of supernatural beings and whatnot.
Yes, they have a very powerful shamanistic type magic system.
They do, yeah.
They do.
So does that impact us in any way?
No.
Well, if we went over the border and
Yes.
we weren't welcome, then yes. If we had to go there with a permission and a passport and a fucking briefing from a corp, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. Relations are cool but cordial between Seattle and the neighbouring Native American territories, but you do need travel permission to leave or enter Seattle.
Right.
And so you'll probably have been based in Seattle all your life, especially because of your low class status.
Yeah. Well, I'm immigrant.
You could be from an immigrant family that got caught in there when the borders came up.
Yeah, I'm not a new immigrant, but I'm immigrant. So, as in Irish, basically.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, Mr. Sunshine's a Londoner. There's nothing to stop you flying in, and maybe your family did have money back in the day. Maybe there's still parts of your family that do have money, but just not your parts of the family.
Yeah. And it's not huge amounts of money. It's enough for a traveller to get by with. But it's not like vast amounts of wealth. It's just...
Well, again, you can buy wealth in character creation, but it's I have capped it out at 3, and it's not a lot of money. You're not going to start rich, because if you started rich, you won't need to be shadow running.
Exactly, yeah.
The only reason shadow running in the Shadowrun system you can start with a lot of money is because then you can buy a lot of cyberware, and you just start with a lot of... Your body's worth a lot of money. You may not have a lot of money in the bank. Now, as soon as you're not starting with cyberware or guns or equipment or anything, then you just don't have a lot of money in the bank, and you're struggling to make ends meet.
Looking at the Shadowrunners go by, because the Shadowrunners will hide out in places like Redmond when they're trying to lay low from the law and stuff like that. So you'll see characters like that about, and you might be like, oh, one day.
But especially for Dave's character, he could be doing bare knuckle fights that Mr. Sunshine organises. So he can arrange those sorts of things, and then
Get
occasionally.
off that chair, Dave.
I know. It's basically what he's telling me he's going to play. So, yeah, Mr. Sunshine will be. I will know Mr. Sunshine at least.
Yes, and so I would put him as at least a contact.
Yeah.
And then he will give you work every so often. He'll arrange a fight night. You'll get contacted, and you'll be expected to fight for a wage.
Yeah.
For a purse.
And also to do insurance work and things like that for them, and
persuade
people to do things that Mr. Sunshine would like them to do.
Yeah, you might be one of these part-time heavies.
Yeah.
So if somebody's not paying up, you might be asked to go around to a shop and rough it up a bit, or lean on someone if they owe money to Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff. So yeah, absolutely, you can be one of his brute squad.
All the bouncers at the Rose and Crown are part of his brute squad.
Yeah. So you will know not just Mr. Sunshine, but probably some of the bouncers and some of the staff that work there.
And Crunch.
Yeah. So you're easy to connect that way. So yes, Michelle's character, Magpie.
No, not Starling. Everyone knows Starling, though.
Everyone knows Starling. No. Right. So Michelle's character is Magpie. She works for Mr. Sunshine. She lives there. She lives at the Rose and Crown because Mr. Sunshine is kind of her uncle.
Right.
Adopted uncle. And she works the bar. She's a hostess. She occasionally dances. And so she's one of the pub staff. But Magpie has a little sister called Starling. Now in Shadowrun, obviously an elf mummy and an elf daddy who love each other very much can have elf children, but humans will have human children, but at puberty a human could change into an elf, an orc, a troll, or a dwarf. And that can happen at puberty. It can happen at birth, but it can also happen at puberty. So you could be born human and end up as a troll, for example. That's not happened to any of you lot. But So, Starling, well, I'm going to wait for Dave to come back if you can't hear me. He's disappeared.
He's having a wank.
We'll wait for him. Rob, Dave isn't here. I was having a bit of a think. You came up with the street name, Librarian.
The Librarian.
Now, I'm thinking, from where you come from and the company you are likely to keep.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to keep Librarian, you can keep Librarian. I don't have a real problem with it at all. But
I'm open to offers.
Well, I'm thinking something shorter and snappier, something like, I don't know, Bookworm, or
okay,
Worm with a Y.
Maybe Worm with a Y. The alternatives. I mean, the thing is that nowadays books hardly exist, and so it's all about
Scroller.
So it's all about using a screen. So you might be known as the scroller, because normally people will look at the screen, they'll read the first paragraph, and then they'll shut the screen down. But you're the sort of person that scrolls all the way to the bottom and reads everything. So I like scroll as a possibility.
Like Bookworm with a Y is kind of cool.
Bookworm with a Y is quite good.
Doesn't float my boat so much.
No.
So yeah.
Well, Bookworm fits because the Shadowrun universe, you have dragons and mythical creatures. So
yes. So yeah, Shadowrun is basically it's cyberpunk, and then magic awakens, and so in cycles of 4,000 or 5,000 years, every so often, magic comes and goes, and so magic has awoken. It's the beginning of the Sixth Age, and so yes, the Native American Indians got their magic powers first through shamanistic magic. Then a dragon was spotted in Japan, flying past Mount Fuji. And so, yeah, there's all of that sort of stuff has come back, and then the humans started mutating.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Bookworm, let's call it. That's what we'll go with.
It was just a thought. I was just trying to think of something a bit shorter and snappier than Librarian. But, you know,
too many syllables. God damn it! So Bookworm, but worm with a Y.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Quite a good. That's a good street name. Is that?
Like that. And you're dead right about the characterisation of the know-it-all, investigative-minded. Yeah.
So, all I was going to say is finally another part on Magpie's. Magpie's got a little sister called Starling. Starling's elven. She's an elf. She's 2 or 3 years younger than Magpie, somewhere around the age of 16. And when you create an elf character, when you create any sort of race in Shadowrun, which you won't, but elves, for example, get another 2 points to spend on stats, and it can either be an appearance, charisma, or dexterity. Now, stats run from 1 to 5, 5 being the human maximum. So if you've got an appearance of 5, for example, you're as good looking as a human can be. Michelle created Starling, and then for 2 extra points, put them both in appearance. So Starling has an elven appearance of 7. So she is knockout.
Everyone knows who Starling is.
Everyone knows who Starling is, but everyone knows that Mr. Sunshine is her uncle.
Right.
So, DK's character is Bookworm, Worm with a Y. He is very knowledgeable. Give me a brief description, DK. How old are you? What do you look like? That sort of stuff.
I'm going to pitch him. I mean, what's the lowest you reckon we should be? So I was thinking he should be almost a bit too young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you can be 15 or 16. You can be as young as that.
Let's say 15 then. He's got by being able to find out information. He doesn't ever say where from, but if someone has a question about someone in the local area, he'll go and find out. He's just become known for being able to find stuff out. and hence become bookworm because he always seems to have his nose in his tablet, reading away.
Oh, DK, your tablet is in the form of an old hardback book.
A little too on the nose, perhaps.
Because you've got 2 screens.
But that's not so bad, I'm sorry. But yeah, but that's the point. The point is, his nose is always in the book unless you catch his attention to ask him a question.
Bookworm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
in terms of family and the like, I was going to talk about that. I was going to suggest that he's likely to have no family in the area, that he has run away from home, and probably shouldn't really be in the area. I was going to talk to you about that, but that maybe they kind of got off the wrong transport in the wrong place and just decided to make it.
Got off the bus, and before he left the bus station, had been picked up by a child trafficker.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I mean, though, Lewis? He's fucked off with the world, and he's left home.
Well, if you come from Redmond, you probably know that as the neutral zone, the manor, if your character is actually a family in the Redmond area, one of the gang territories, and you just want to get out of that gang territory, heading to Mr. Sunshine's Zone as a kid is a wise idea.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Because if you're a bookworm...
How old is your character then? Are you a kid?
Yeah, he's 15, he said. Yeah.
Ah! Thank you, right, sorted.
As a bookworm, and probably wanting to know information, you might be privy to the fact that Mr. Sunshine has an honour code.
And at 15, there's probably... You may not be able to afford, and again, another thing I was going to suggest is it might be wise for you to have a Decker as a contact. Deckers are your net runners, your matrix people.
Yeah.
And the reason being is if you need access to information that isn't publicly available, you can always ask your Decker contact to make things available for you. And they can feed information to your tablet or to your station.
Sounds good.
A quiet place for you to go and sit and read all day without being hassled is Ripley's Comic Store.
Yeah.
And being that age, Ripley would quite happily let you probably just sit in a corner and use one of his cyber terminals all day.
Cool.
And
Well, he'll ask him to sweep the floors for 10 minutes every hour. There's the look of it.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Fetch us a coffee, lad, and sweep the floors. Right, carry on.
Yeah,
I take it, James, you're a Decker then.
No. Have you done DK? Do you want me to do my spiel?
I'm kind of done. I'm still fleshing it out. I had lots of little ideas, but none of it kind of really gelled very well when I was trying to put it together in my head, So those are the things I've mentioned that matter to me about his age, where he's from, and what he's about.
Well, when we start, can we all change our usernames in the chat to our character names, just to make it easier to know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can do that now.
I'm already Mr. Sunshine.
Right, this is pre-Nova names, yeah.
Yeah, well, they're your street names. Probably likely to be your street names because that's what everybody will know you as. You may be called John and Tracy and Fred, but people will know you as...
People don't tend to give their real names in Redmond.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah, you're Bookworm or Magpie or A grade, and everybody knows you by those names. So yeah, just I'd like to know your given name. You might be,
My given name is
Sean Smith.
Sean Cassidy, but everyone knows me as Cass. So
Okay.
Sean Cassidy, are you a Sandman fan by any way?
Eh? Sandman?
Sandman. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, but I also enjoyed Preacher as well.
Sorry, not Sandman.
I was thinking Preacher.
Preacher.
Preacher, that's the one. Yes, Preacher Cassidy. He's a fecker. Absolute fecker.
But I'm not a vampire, so don't worry about it.
Yes, we believe you.
Well, do you
I want to see you in fucking midday sunlight.
Are you going to use the Act 2 Plays cast as your base then?
The what, sorry?
Are you going to use, I can't remember his name, the actor who actually plays Cassidy?
Gilgun.
Gilgun. Something Gilgun, isn't it?
Yeah, if you want to base the character on somebody like that, yeah. Because he's wiry and he knows how to fight and all the rest of it. Yeah, absolutely.
You taking away my Decker character, you
well, unfortunately, players
I know,
trump
players get
NPCs.
first pick.
So, in a previous game, as you know...
Well, a mix between him and Brad Pitt in Snatch. So
yeah, you can have whatever you want, mate.
Yeah, anything like that.
Joseph Gilgun. So, as you know, I've tried to start this game a couple of times with different groups, and Michelle had a Decker contact, who then she called Casper the Friendly Ghost because he was a Decker, and based him completely on Cass from played by John Gilgun.
Yeah,
as an NPC. But if that's you, then
he still exists.
Yeah,
he just might have a different face this time.
Yeah, he's still going to be Casper the Decker. Okay, James.
So, A grade, streetwise face. You want something? I'm your man. First time, on time, every time. He's that's the picture I've uploaded to the chat. Oh, he's got his sunglasses on. Loves a trench coat. He might be aspiring to that level of gun. Probably doesn't have it right now. But connected up the wazoo. You need something, I can sort you out. So I've got a street dock, which is Bones, which had to be done. I've obviously taken Ripley as the fence as a contact. And I've also got, to be named later, a mage, Decker, and a corp.
Lots of contacts. And lots of different
Went all out on the contacts. It's kind of the core what I do. Backgrounds, hard to buy them later.
Yep.
So yeah, he's a slick, streetwise. He tries to act a lot older than his years. Underneath it all, he's a bit fucking terrified. He has got some secrets. Don't know whether to let him on yet. I think it'll come out in play.
Depends how close you are with various people. I mean, you might decide that you're quite close with one or two characters. You can let them know in chats if you want. But that's up to you. Obviously, if you've got Ripley as a contact as your fence, you'll spend time in the comic shop, so you will already know about Bookworm. Especially if people are after information, Bookworm might be a good well, he's a player, so he's not strictly a contact, but he's probably somebody that you would, if people need hooking up with information, you might.
He's the unofficial Manners babysitter as well.
If you are going to have Mr. Sunshine as a mentor or an ally or something, then you will spend time in the Rose and Crown as well. So you will easily know Magpie, and you will also know Cass as well.
I will point out Magpie knows Ripley very well. She knows.
Yeah, Magpie knows Ripley and will spend time there. Again, Magpie's only, 17?
She will be turning 18 on the 14th of February.
Right.
Yay.
So she's going to be 18 soon. We're going to start on the 2nd of January 2073. It's a Monday. So it's the day after New Year's Day. So you will have probably been busy New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. You might have even gone downtown. In previous games, we've had an entire party that were comprised of kids, and they were sent by Mr. Sunshine out into downtown on New Year's Eve to pick a few pockets. Money.
Got to pick a pocket or two.
Exactly. He was a bit of a Fagin character as well. And so, yeah, I'm going to start it like that. It's the day after New Year's Day. You've probably been busy on New Year's Eve, whether you were partying or fighting or working at Mr. Sunshine's or whatever you were doing. And it's your day off on the Monday, on the 2nd. So that's when we're going to start. Okay, sorry, go on, James. I've interrupted A-grade.
Yeah, and he tries to know everything, tries to act slick sometimes. he is quite as smooth as he seems. Most times, occasionally, now and then. If you need something sorting, though, he is your guy. He knows people and has got a knack of getting on with people. And he's not going for any fucking Robin Hood vibe. No. But he really approves of Mr. Sunshine's and Ripley's policies. Yeah, you don't fuck with the kids. They're innocent. They'll grow up. They might not stay innocent. But for now, they don't need to be hurt. Make money off them? Yeah, sure. Don't take the piss.
Is he Cat from Red Dwarf?
Not quite. But he's as well dressed as he is.
Cool.
He's got a really shabby chic going on. Other people could wear this and they'd look like a bum. He wears it and he pulls it off.
Cool.
So you got a point in style then.
Trick shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
I will say of my character, she is quietly confident sort of person. She's not over the top. When she performs well. When she's dealing with customers, she's pleasant. She's not as friendly as her sister. But you don't touch her sister. You do not harm her sister, especially when Mr. Sunshine's around, but not when Magpie's around either.
Okay.
Very protective. But you actually live at the Rose and Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're well protected.
Dave, I'm really sorry, but I think I was editing character sheet to make it actually work after being told off by Lawson yesterday when you were giving your character description. Could you give me a rundown again?
And you?
Mike, I thought it was Dave. No?
Dave.
What, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my character, Sean Cassidy, is basically Irish gypsy. Sort of makes his money mostly out of bare knuckle fights, stuff like that.
Sorry, yes. That's the one. I'm just fixing it in my head.
But he also he does a little bit of heavy work for Mr. Sunshine when needed, a little bit of muscle or intimidation, that kind of thing. But he's by no means a big muscular bloke. He's 6 foot tall, thin like a pencil, but he's fast and
hits like a sledgehammer, like Brad Pitt, and
yeah.
Bang!
Exactly, that's him. Yeah, and that's pre-Nova.
Yeah. See, this is why A grade wants to know you all. Yeah, bookworm, good contact for finding shit out. You, heavy work or putting on a fight and arranging the bets. Nice. What's your speciality, Magpie?
My speciality.
What are you
Why
known
do you
for
think
being
she
good
got
at?
the name Magpie?
She's good at finding shiny things.
2 reasons she has the name Magpie. If you've ever seen it kick off in the VIP room upstairs, the person they asked to remove the shrapnel is Magpie. Mr. Sunshine calls her Magpie because she brings in the shiny things.
Shiny. So you and me will be in a fucking queue at Mr. Ripley's. It's like, Magpie, I think you were here first. Off you go.
She'll probably start talking Japanese at Ripley before you even know it. She's not Japanese, but she is fluent in it.
Yeah, don't forget, if you buy linguistics as a skill, you can choose languages. As well as the standard sort of human languages, things like Japanese, Spanish. Obviously, you're going to be speaking American English as your bog standard. That's what everybody speaks. There are also elves have their own language.
Esperanto.
Orzet for orcs.
Orzet for orcs.
Esperanto. I spent 3 million years learning Esperanto.
No bugger else speaks it.
Luckily, it's a dead language.
But yeah,
it was never alive. It was invented.
But yeah, the elves have their own language. The orcs have their own language. Trolls don't tend to have their own language. They're not bright enough on the whole. And dwarves don't tend to have their own language either. But certainly the elves and the orcs both have their own language. Orzet for the orcs and Sperithiel for the elves. And if you can come up with a good reason why you know either of those languages, you can take those as well. But there's also, as I say, Japanese, Spanish, French, all of those sorts of things.
And before anyone asks, Starling doesn't speak Elven fluently yet.
Which is only just changed.
There are very few elves in Redmond for a reason.
Yeah.
How long was it since you went through the change?
Yeah, she was 13 when she went through the change. She's been an elf a few years, but there's not that many elves in Redmond.
It's probably worth mentioning at this point that I put 3 dots in linguistics.
Yes. And don't forget, the Crimson Crush are one of your neighbours, and they are mostly orcs.
Yeah.
So the Crimson Crush, one side are mostly orcs. On the other side is the Yakuza, who are all obviously Japanese. And Ripley, who owns the comic book shop, is originally Japanese as well. So, speaking Orzet and Japanese are probably 2 very good languages to learn for your local area.
Thank you. That's brilliant.
You can pick anything if you want. I mean, as
Spanish
Bookworm,
as well.
As Bookworm, you can learn ancient Aztec. You could learn a North American native. You could speak, Navajo.
There's also Korean and Spanish gangs.
There are Korean and Spanish gangs, and the mafia are here. So Italian is another one. So the Solparins all speak Korean, the Yakuza all speak Japanese, and the mafia all speak Italian.
So 3 dots is 3 additional languages to English, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I've chosen.
Cool.
So yes, getting to downtown isn't difficult. Funnily enough, one of the things Seattle does well is public transport. And for 1 new yen, you can get on a bus in the Redmond Barrens and you can go all the way to downtown Seattle. However, it goes round the houses and takes an hour and a half. So slow, but it is possible on very little money. New yen is the currency. So it's not pounds, it's not dollars, it's new yen.
Cash is rare.
Cash is rare. So most people have cred sticks. These are like credit cards, but they're little sticks. If they're only holding a small amount of money, a cred stick will, you can have unregistered cred sticks, which are just like cash. Anyone can pick it up and use it up to the credit value that's on the cred stick. If it's going to hold a lot of money on it, it will have things like a fingerprint sensor, even retina scanners built into it so that nobody else can steal it and use it. These are issued by banks. So if you want to carry around a huge amount of money, you can do quite safely on a cred stick that nobody else can use because it's got lots of biometric information.
But you need a SIN for that.
So SIN is like your national insurance number or your social security number in America. It puts you on a system. You're on a database then. You're identifiable. Your name, your date of birth, and your SIN number are all on the database.
If you've read
However,
down the clause.
if you want to leave Seattle, you will need a SIN because your SIN is also your passport. Everything's all connected. So this is probably why you don't. SINs are a double-edged sword. They get you a lot of things like driving licenses, gun licenses, passport. All of these are linked to your SIN.
But it's trackable. Yeah.
But it's all trackable.
If you've read the merits and flaws, you'll notice SINs are flaws.
For Shadowrunners, SINs are flaws.
Yeah.
So, and there's different levels of SIN as well. Corporate SINs and things like that.
And how difficult is it to forge a SIN?
You need a forger, and the basic one will cost 8 to 10k.
Right,
yeah.
So it's quite expensive, yeah.
It's very expensive to forge a SIN, yeah. However, cash is also accepted, especially in the Barrens. If you go outside of the Barrens, cash is something that is seen as only criminals use cash. You use cash to buy drugs, you use cash to buy illegal guns. So cash is not well accepted, say, in downtown. If you go down to a downtown club, you're expected to pay everything with a cred stick. However, unregistered cred sticks that hold a small amount of money are quite easy to come by. So you can still have a cred stick,
with up to 10K on it.
But it will be limited to how much money you can carry on it. And it's normally 10K for an unregistered cred stick. You can buy fake cred sticks for a little bit of extra money. You can buy a fake cred stick, but it might be a random name on it. So you go into a grocery shop in downtown with a fake cred stick, you swipe all your food, you pay with the cred stick, and the cashier on her till or his till, it will say, this cred stick belongs to Betty Smith, and as A grade, he's handing his cred stick over, and it flashes up on the till, this is Betty Smith's cred stick. Now, 99% of the time, your average cashier in a spa-type place will not care. They will just swipe your cred stick, they won't even look at the screen, they'll give it you back and you'll be fine. But if you get stopped by a policeman and he wants to have a look at your cred stick, you better worry, because he'll look at it and it'll say, Betty Smith, and he'll look at you and he'll go, you're not Betty Smith.
So, there's also the money transfer to cred thing, because you could have 10K in cash, but that won't get you a 10K cred stick. It'll get you less.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to somebody like Mr. Sunshine and he will swap cash for cred sticks or cred sticks for cash, but he'll skim 5 or 10% off.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. And if you want to put something like 50K on a cred stick, then yes, it will cost you more.
And you'll need a fake SIN.
And you'll need a fake SIN. Or they'll hotwire one that has a fingerprint scanner on it. But again, it's very likely that you might end up with a cred stick that belongs to Juno Yamazaki. And unless you look Japanese, any policeman that looks at that will immediately know that you're not Juno Yamazaki. Some things are easier to fake than others. And stolen cred sticks can be used, especially if somebody's got one that hasn't got a SIN or it's been stolen from them in the first place. Deckers can sometimes deal with that sort of stuff, but there is one of the handouts has got price lists for all that sort of stuff, fake cred sticks and all of that. However, in your resources, if you start with resources 1, I think you end up with something like $100 in random cash and cred sticks. So you can say, I want $50, I'm going to have 50 yen in cash and I'm going to have 50 yen on an unregistered cred stick. And that's how you start the game. So if you then want to go into a stuffer shack or a spa and pay with your cred stick, you can still buy groceries. And again, in the Barrens, it's not as bad. A lot of the small mom and pop type shops will accept cash because they realize that a lot of people are sinless. System identification number is a sin.
And most of them aren't going to care if your SIN's fake or real either.
Yeah. So again, where you live, it's not that much of a problem. But if you start going downtown or some of the posher areas of town, then you might start finding that not having a SIN, not having a proper registered cred stick might be a bit of a problem. But a SIN is a flaw because it's all traceable. And the courts can access SIN databases. All of them can. Right. So you start becoming a cropper of a corporation and if you've got a SIN, they'll start being able to track you. Okay. So there you go. Have a read of that in Flaws.
No, good. I'm liking this. Yeah.
It is. It's in some ways it's a bit totalitarian. The courts have got a lot of things screwed down quite tightly, but there are lots of cracks. Like the police presence. All the police are privatized. So in Seattle, it's all done by a corporation called Lone Star. So you'll get slang, like the stars are shining, means there's a lot of police presence out tonight.
Right.
Because they all belong to Lone Star. And because they're a private company, individuals aren't particularly paid well. Bribery is possible. The police can be as crooked as the next person, especially in places like the Aberrant.
No, I'll be honest with you. I spent a lot of time reading the Aberrant stuff, and there's a lot to bloody read. And that I haven't spent that much time reading the Shadow Novel, which is your own stuff. But I will do. And
that's probably the best thing to read are the handouts, because I've got a history handout, a day in the life handout, which will explain things like sins and cred sticks, which is the day in the life. Character creation obviously is essential.
Yeah.
The history one, not so much, but it gives you a good flavour of
where you are.
All of this has just happened in the last 30 years. Up to 2040, everything was normal. Magic wasn't awakened, and then all of a sudden, magic things started happening about 30 years ago.
You said the character sheets are up in Discord, did you?
Yeah, I've just posted the ODS character sheet again because I've made a few corrections to it.
No problem. We'll get that filled in ready for fortnight time, yeah?
Yeah, and if you need a hand filling it in, because it's not the most friendly of things, and just give me a call, and I'm happily to go through the character sheet with you.
Yeah.
Once you've done it once, it's very easy.
The hardest bit is reading through all the
That's
powers,
what she
all the
said.
mega abilities.
The struggle.
There's so many things you can have, and so many things. It's like an Argus catalogue. So many beautiful things. You cannot afford them all.
Did anybody else have the Christmas ritual? Your parents give you an Argos catalogue and a highlighter, and you'd go through it, you'd go, one of them, one of them, one of them, and you'd get 1 out of 100.
Yeah. But that's it. I mean, there's so many powers, so many mega ability powers
Mega
and abilities, mega attributes.
Enhancements, that's what they are.
Just to confirm, it's a D10 system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's D10.
So what happens is if you'll notice that all the skills are underneath a particular stat. What you do is you add your skill and your stat together, and that's how many D10 you roll.
Right.
So if you've got a total of 5, you're rolling 5 D10. You then look at each individual dice. If it's a 7, 8, 9, or 10, it's a success. If it's a 1, it's a botch.
No,
you add
cool.
up all your successes and you minus your botches.
I'll just have to update my scripts for my dice then.
Are 10s 2 successes?
That's mega attributes.
Right.
No, good.
Mega attributes, when you add your mega attribute dice, you have to keep those dice separate. So say once you go Nova, say you've got mega intelligence 2 and you're having to make an intelligence-based skill roll, you roll your skill and your intelligence as one set of dice, and then you roll your mega intelligence dice separately. And the reason being is that if you roll a 10, it's worth 2 successes, and a 1 on a mega attribute dice does not count as a botch. Mega attribute dice are very nice. They never botch, and a 10 will give you 2 successes.
Okay.
And it's worth remembering with mega attributes, on your first point of mega attributes, you get a free enhancement. That's automatic.
Oh no, James.
If you buy a second point in mega attribute, it is just that mega attribute.
James
if you want another enhancement, it's a different price.
You've got to buy it.
Yeah.
James
so
is
you
making
could have
finger bob. You were, weren't you? You were making finger bob then, weren't you?
Well,
no, with the paper. They're ripping up the paper. I thought you were making finger bob.
Oh no, I just ripping out a roach. I bought a bunch of cardboard.
Finger bob. The prawn, or whatever it was.
I bought all of this cardboard to use the laser printer to print out a shitload of miniatures for my D&D game.
Right.
Then I had more cardboard than printouts, and so it's like, roach material.
What laser printer you got?
A high-end Canon one. It's one of those where you're actually spending bugger all on toner because you spend more up front, as in the opposite of an inkjet. But the other half got it, and it's just like, yeah, I just cheerfully abused the fuck out of it for D&D shit.
But is it a laser? Actually, a laser printer, or just?
Yes, full-blown laser.
Wow.
And the other half, she's taken over the loft as her workspace, and getting the fucking laser printer up to the loft. Because we don't have stairs, it's just up the fucking ladder.
It's a heavy beast.
And
yes,
that's the fucking loft hatch size, and that's the size of the laser printer. So it's like, fucker!
You need hands that thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So just to confirm before we... Oh, sorry.
Right, go on.
Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, if we're going to confirm how our characters know each other before Game Zero, that would probably be wise.
Well, I think Mr. Sunshine's going to be the linchpin, isn't he? He's
Mr. Sunshine and Ripley. Because I definitely know Magpie from Ripley. I know Bookworm from Ripley. And I've helped sort out a couple of fights for you through Mr. Sunshine. Or Mr. Sunshine says, can you help promote this fight?
You don't
and
know
I put
me.
the word out and got...
Well, that's you, but how about everybody else?
So yeah, I mean, Cass is going to be spending a lot of time with Mr. Sunshine or working for him. Magpie works for Mr. Sunshine, but spends a lot of time at Ripley's.
So you could have been a bouncer a couple of nights as well.
Absolutely.
Because you're not always fighting every night.
No. I do the odd job that needs doing that needs a little bit of muscle or whatever, or persuasion, shall we say?
Yeah. And occasionally you might be a fill-in bouncer if one of the lads is ill or doing something. You might get a phone call, can you work tonight?
Yeah.
Bookworm will probably spend a lot of his time at Ripley's because it's clean and safe and good network connection there. And as long as he shows a little bit of willing by making the odd brew and sweeping the floors every so often, Ripley will let him stay there all the time, pretty much. This is a bit unfair because you probably haven't decided on how many points you're going to spend on resources. But resources 0 means you're literally in Cardboard City. You're on the street. Resources 1, you're in a squat. Resources 2, you've got a place of your own.
Okay.
Yeah.
So...
Sorry, I'm not being pedantic, but what if you're living with somebody like a girlfriend or something like that? Is that...
Well, if you're
it could be a shared squat.
It could be a shared squat.
Shared squat. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. If you only want to spend resources 1, then you can basically be freeloading off a girlfriend or something like that.
Basically old buildings, old tenement buildings that are so run down that people group together and will hollow it out as a shared squat type of thing.
I might have a caravan. Live in a caravan, my mum's.
Yeah. in a car park somewhere or something like that. The Barrens is run down, but most of the streetlights still work. Those that aren't broken, there's still running water, there's still electricity. If you go further out from the Redmond Barrens, there is an area called the Dark Zone, which is just like the Barrens, but there's no running water and there's no electricity. And that's where the real scum live. Right. And then beyond that, there is a toxic wasteland up in the north.
So we're actually living post-apocalypse atomic.
It's
No, we live next to the post-apocalyptic wasteland.
No, but I take it there was an apocalypse or something that happened.
There's been a couple of kind of apocalypses. Yes, there was a nuclear apocalypse, and it was one of the reasons why the Native Americans actually have their own land now, because they marched into one of the nuclear bunkers and threatened to nuke places unless they got their own lands back. And some bombs were actually released to make a point. But what also happened,
didn't they set off 4 volcanoes simultaneously?
Yes, that was the other thing they did. Through their shamanic magic, they also said, "You have nukes. How cute! We'll set off all the
set off Yellowstone.
Volcanoes.
There you go.
We'll set off Yellowstone. We'll make all the faults open. We'll sink half of Los Angeles." And they did that sort of stuff as well.
Fantastic.
So there has been an apocalypse. There was also a minor apocalypse when all the computers crashed. There was a global virus that took down all the computers. And that's why up to 30 years ago, a lot of the very old information has been lost. So, it's hard to find information on the pyramids unless you live next door to them. It's hard to find information on who was the first president of the United States. It's hard to find that sort of information because there was a global computer crash in 52, I think it was.
Okay.
Well, a lot of ancient history was forgotten.
No, that's good. I like that.
That's why.
Incredibly rare. Collectors' pieces. Most books are now held by private collectors. There is a public net where it's very easy to order a taxi or find out the address of a bank and things like that. And it's all free. But if you want to start digging for information, normally you have to then start paying for it or know somebody in the know. And that's one of the reasons, Bookworm, why I suggest maybe having a Decker as a contact. Because if all of a sudden you need to know who the first president of America was, you might not be able to find it on the public net, but you'll be able to have a chat with your Decker and you'll download your file.
Yeah, done. Sounds good.
Yeah, because a lot of shit's monetized, so those public libraries aren't public.
That's okay. That's okay. I have a plan.
Right, so yeah, Cassie's going to be spending a lot of time around the Rosen crowd. He'll be known easily by everybody except Bookworm probably, unless you have. But then
with Mr. Sunshine.
But then via Ripley, A-grade Bookworm and Magpie will know each other as well. Because of the connection with Ripley. And Cass, if you need a fence as one of your contacts, then that will likely be Ripley anyway. Yeah. So, you will occasionally go up to the comic book store when you
Ripley's everyone's contact.
When you have things you need to sell. Well, yeah, I mean, he's useful. Fences are useful, let's be honest. But, you don't have to have...
Whether that's physical or just information.
Yeah. But then again, if you've been talking to A-grade might say, well, I know a fence, and you might go through him because you don't know him yourself. It swings and roundabouts.
Time will tell. Yeah.
Time will tell. So again...
Actually, how long has Bookworm been in the Barrens? Because I was currying before I was dancing.
Probably lived there all his life, I would imagine. Or how long have you been in the Redmond Barrens in that particular area?
In the manor.
No, I think he's froze.
He's frozen for me.
Is he thinking?
Well, it's taking
I don't know.
Even longer to think than normal.
DK?
What?
Okay. I was talking to you, mate.
You all broke up for a bit.
You broke up.
You were fine. You were the one who went silent, mate.
You're the one that's got the really bad connection, mate, at the moment. You're still looking...
mental, because I've got the fastest connection in the world, but there we go. You all got to make... So I had that for a minute or so. I think
I was just asking you how long you've been in the manor, because I might know you through Ripley, or I might know you through a longer...
It's more likely you'll know me through Ripley. I don't think I would have been there too long. For fuck's sake, I'm only 15. I'm a kid. I'm an idiot.
But where did you come from before?
I am from nowhere.
Only another area of Seattle. So again, it depends on your family that you've run away from. How wealthy are they? Are they just from another part of Redmond?
Yeah, if they're wealthy, you better take the floor sin, mate.
No, I'm not taking the floor. No, they are not wealthy. I didn't want to have that background.
No, that's fair enough. So they're probably just in another part of the Barrens.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've moved into the manor for how long? How long have you been in the manor?
I'd say it can't be more than a month, maybe 2 months tops.
Right.
Okay.
That's not a lot of time to get to know people.
No.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I am trying to build my reputation, obviously, you know.
Okay. So we've heard of you, but we don't trust you.
Sounds good.
No, what about in game though?
Go away.
Boom.
Every gang a winner. I'm here all week
Sorry.
trying to scamping. Yeah.
Okay, how about, because Redmond is rough, you might have been a bit of a state when you came in. Mr. Sunshine picked you up and sent you to Ripley after I fixed you up.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That sounds like a very reasonable way of getting into the crowd.
And I'm definitely going to be like finding jobs for you,
Sounds like a good plan.
checking you out, see how good you are at the information stuff.
Alrighty.
So the other thing I want you to think about is, what did you do 2 days before? What did you do on New Year's Eve or over the Christmas break? Were you downtown picking pockets? Were you doing a bouncing for Mr. Sunshine because he needed the extra bouncers on for Christmas Eve? Were you working? New Year's Eve, sorry. I mean New Year's Eve. Were you...
I was likely working, but it's also Starling's birthday. She's turned 16 on January the 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I take it you want all this on the spreadsheet, yeah?
No. What you did on New Year's Eve, you can bring to you, and we can talk about it as the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
Because if a couple of you are doing similar things, you might have even been doing them together, or you know.
Well, in my background, I'd have been celebrating Hogmanay sort of style. It's yeah.
Yep.
I might have done a bit of work during the day, but in the evening, certainly no. I'd have been with family and friends. So
If I got the night off and my allies were available, I'd probably be spending it in Underworld 93.
Okay, so there's a local club. Well, I say local. It's outside of the manor, but there is a club fairly close by called Underworld 93. It's a place to go when you've saved up your money. It's multiple floors, different sorts of music on different floors. The ground floor is all sort of dance music and the latest crazes. It's the place to be seen in Redmond Barrens. There's an underground area that is it's a lot darker, plays a lot of industrial and metal and goth type stuff. There's an upper floor for the people with a bit more money, with its own separate bar and a bit of a posers area. But it is definitely the big club in the area, is Underworld 93.
It's got that reputation of people from the upper class areas of Seattle go to Underworld 93 because it's that club.
not me. I
For slumming.
I wouldn't be there unless I was there escorting somebody, as in making bodyguard type role. But no, I'd be at home with my family. So.
Yep, that's fair enough.
Do we get the night off? Can Starling and me go to Underworld 93, please, Uncle?
What, on January the 1st, yeah, you'll have worked, Magpie, you will have worked on New Year's Eve.
Bollocks.
But you will have January the 1st off.
Yeah, okay.
And we'll start on January the 2nd. So you might be noticing a hangover when we start.
Yay.
No, this is good. And I take it, you said that there's no, like, in D&D we have maps and all that. There's none of that in what we're doing. I'll
occasionally sketch things down and show them up on the screen.
But a lot of this is going to be up here, yeah?
It's going to be a lot of that. I'll give you layouts and you can give me the brief idea of where you are in
some of the powers don't work well with maps because shit,
That makes sense, Michelle. Yeah, thank you.
I'm thinking about quantum bolt, teleport, warp, super speed, flight.
There's not as much reliance on what square are you in, how many squares are you away from the target. A lot of stuff is line of sight. So as long as you can see somebody, you can affect them. And of course, closing distances again. You'll normally be in. Well, you might be out on the streets, but you might be in enclosed rooms or stuff like that, where engaging with people is going to be quite easy.
Sounds cool. I'm up for that.
Combat is quite quick and dirty and quite dangerous. You'll notice that you've only got 7 hit points, and that doesn't go up unless you buy them. You have levels of injury. So you'll be bruised, or you'll be maimed, or you'll be mauled, or you'll be unconscious,
or you'll be dead.
Or you'll be dead.
Smooth.
And so, and as you get more and more injured, you get negatives on your dice. So if you take 5 points of damage and you are maimed, then you're probably at -3 or even -5 dice. And if you're just not good enough to do anything because you're bleeding out, you just can't do anything.
And is there such a thing as resurrect?
Nope.
No, there isn't resurrect. No.
So once you're dead, you're dead. This is Iron Man mode.
It's just gaffer tape and good luck.
Yeah. But
Awesome.
you know, as long as you know.
So if the club, what was the name of the club again?
Underworld 93.
Underworld 93. If it's the place to be seen, then I've got to be seen there.
Yeah, sounds good. But what we're going to be
pressing the flesh
then once we're all dead.
What after the first encounter?
I've already sorted out my escape plan.
No, I'm looking forward to this. It's different. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Hopefully, it will be different. And you know, I will be. It'll be a lot of it. A fair amount of it will be. A fixer will contact you and give you a job to do. You'll go and do the job. You'll get paid, and then you might have a bit of downtime to recover and heal and stuff, depending. But there'll also be, there'll also be overarching plots as well. There'll be things that are going on that you'll have to deal with as well.
It's a lot more active downtime as well. You can actually say, oh, my character wants to get another contract. You don't just buy another contact. You have to work towards your next contact.
Yeah.
If you put up your skills, you have to study. Stuff like that. You don't just go, oh, with the powers, you can go, oh, I've got this much XP.
So,
funny enough, I've been watching.
This is another thing.
I've been watching. I've been watching Boardwalk Empire on. I don't know if you've seen that Boardwalk Empire.
No.
Really, really good. Set in the 1920s, you know, Chicago gangsters and all that kind of stuff. But there's like 5 seasons of it. Really, really good, and it's all about politics and just little guys, just and how Al Capone got up through the ranks and all that kind of stuff. Boardwalk Empire, it's called. So I've been watching that, and I've been using that kind of mindset as well as to how I'm going to play this character.
Yeah,
you know, it's.
Now, one of the things I'm going to, it's an optional rule, and obviously it's probably not a rule that you've ever read or seen, but I'm going to use it. And it's what we used to call, and I will still colloquially call it, the apocalypse method. And this is only for buying Nova powers, Nova abilities, Mega abilities, and stuff like that. So for those of you in the know, Apocalypse was one of the first mutants in the X-Men.
Oh, yes.
He's an X-Men baddie.
Yes.
And Apocalypse is so old and so powerful, he doesn't always know what he can do. So Apocalypse is the sort of person that goes, can I fly? Oh, I can. And he doesn't know he can do it until he tries.
Right.
He's so old and he's so powerful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you, if you want, for your XP, if you want to learn how to drive better, you're going to have to spend some time learning how to drive better. But when it comes to powers in your Nova form, if you've got the XP and suddenly decide, oh, I need to be able to fly, and you've got the XP, you can buy it and do it there and then. So save some of your XP by.
It actually saved one of the previous characters' lives.
In a previous game, I had no details, please, sweetheart.
No,
I had a clearly an obvious trap, and everybody apart from one person said, "This is clearly an obvious trap. We are not going near it." Apart from one person who decided, "Fuck that! I am going to go up and I'm going to press the big red button. I don't care. This is a trap." And he went over and he pressed the big red button, and he got so damaged that he had to use his XP to buy a power to absorb the damage so he wouldn't die. And it saved his life.
Right. He still ended up damaged.
He still ended up damaged, really fucked, but he didn't die. And that was because he had some XP put by for an apocalypse method. I'm going to buy a power.
He had an XP put by for a different power he was saving up for.
He was saving up
and
for something else.
Having a go at me for the apocalypse method that
I'm never going to. Oh yeah,
I'm not going to use.
I'm never going to use the apocalypse method. I've got brains. I'm gonna. And then he goes and presses the big red button, and he got so damaged he was officially dead. And I let him spend his XP to buy energy absorption.
Guys, do not press the red button.
That's the main takeaway here. The big red button with the engraved neon sign saying this is a trap.
Saying, press me.
Yeah, we may be superheroes, but don't let it get to your heads.
Yeah, and the other thing about that trap, using the big red button analogy, it wasn't just don't press the big red button. He brought a sledgehammer with him and he hit it with a sledgehammer. He was so arrogant about this, he could handle anything. He just kicked the doors down and hit the button with a sledgehammer, and it just blew up in his face. He had to spend XP just to stay alive.
Well, the rest of the party had left.
Well, the rest of the party were in a completely different area of town.
We all went, nah, fuck this shit, and he went.
And so, yes. The next scene after that was him walking through the streets of Seattle with his hair and eyebrows all burnt off, steam coming off his head, looking as unhappy.
To be honest,
his brand new expensive leather trench coat
that he just bought.
I can see something similar happening with this lad, to be honest.
So, yes, that only works for Nova powers and Nova abilities. If it's something mundane, then you've got to plan ahead and say, right, I am going to learn.
So, the actual Nova, when it all happens, is it individual or is it all going to happen all at once?
We shall see.
You shall see. You shall see. It's going to happen in
the
story.
Okay.
And again, to make certain things happen, you might feel a little bit railroaded in the first session or two. I'm not going to completely railroad you, but I am going to railroad you a little bit just to get you places where I need you to be so things can happen. And then after that, I promise I will not railroad you anymore.
It's got to be done in the first couple of sessions.
That's when it all falls to pieces,
Yes.
Now the training wheels come off and we all go, oh, shit.
Basically, Lawson has just been very kind. He's just given you a big red warning. So, this is how it goes. This is how it will be. Now play.
You will get a tutorial level. And then the training.
Your quest log has been updated.
Yes. Oh, you're finally awake, are you? Sorry, that was a Skyrim joke for everybody apart from James.
No, Lawson, I've seen the memes so often, I know exactly the thing. I haven't played it, but I've got YouTube.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I'm loving this. I like the style. So yes, if it's New Year's Eve, I was in Underground 93, making contacts, pressing the flesh, seeing who's there,
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
laying the groundwork for next year. You know, been a good year. Call me if you need anything again. Like that deal? I'll sort it out. I'm your man.
New Year's Eve, I was working. January the 1st, I was in Underworld 93 with my mates.
Bookworm, what were you doing, buddy?
I was in my squat, hiding from any chance of being contacted by anybody. Or, alternatively, just avoiding any red buttons, you know.
And I was going through caravan catalogues with my mum.
But yeah, we'll
So
start
the day,
Sorry, go on.
the night before in Ripley's, I'll be laying groundwork and making contact and saying, "Hey, you want to come along to the club? That's where everybody's going to be tonight. I can get you in. I know the doorman."
No. Spend the night with my mum and watching the caravan. Me, caravan, for fuck's sake.
I was talking to Bookworm.
Oh, fucking hell.
At Ripley's.
If you can find me a quiet corner where no one will disturb me, that'd be lovely.
It does kind of defeat the purpose, but you know, you got to come out your shell in stages. This can't be rushed. Trust me, we'll have a great time. I know just a corner. It's down the side of the DJ booth.
Okay, as long as no one's going to bother me.
No, you won't be able to hear yourself think, but yeah, it'll be.
Yeah.
I won't bother you, but
I
it'll
can
be
put
loud.
earplugs in. Fuck it.
How's your knowledge of obscure 80s Northern Soul?
Oh, yeah.
Dear
Yeah,
God.
I'm up for that.
Dear
Because
Lord above.
the DJ will love you to provide him with sleeve notes.
Well, I mean, I can correct his sleeve notes he's got already if he likes.
There you go. Got you
Oh,
a
they're
gig.
getting cocky already.
Talking of which, who's in the Midlands? There's one of
Yes.
you in the Midlands, yeah. Yeah, a band called Ska 45.
Yes.
We're at the Waterloo on Friday night. Very good. Well worth it. Young lads, and all doing things like the specials and the beat.
I love that music.
It was
In
brilliant.
Reading, we've got 3 big
But
ska bands.
they're all young lads, you know, they
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
have been over 22, 23 years old. And you just
Respect.
thought,
Get a whole mix of people.
fantastic. They've got the trombones and everything else. Yeah, keep it up, boys. Keep the music alive. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Should I tell
That was
James
good.
about Newt?
Can do, yeah.
There's obviously quite a few bouncers like Underworld 93. Quite a few of them will have cyberware because it's that type of club. But one of them is as tall as he is wide, and he's a troll called Newt.
He's like 7.5 foot.
When he
cube.
blocks the door, he blocks the door.
Yeah, he's
Is
not.
he the bouncer?
He's the
He's
splatter.
one of the bouncers.
He's the splatter, which is like a bouncer with the gloves off.
Yeah. When it gets real.
James, Underworld 93 does not have one bouncer. It does not have one DJ. It is a
Yeah.
mega place, and
Big fuck off mega club.
you don't mess with the bouncers.
Oh, God, no. Especially in my trade.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, if it's New Year's Eve, Lawson, I'm turning it with fucking chocolates for Newt. whatever his favourite is, and I would know this, well, Newt, their fucking trolls might eat fucking rocks. If he likes rocks, he's got a selection box of rocks, okay?
He might be called well, he is a troll, but no, he's carbon based. So yes, he likes his scotch. He likes his. I would imagine he's mostly into his meat. So you know, take him a ham hock or something like that, and he'd be very, very pleased.
It's
Actually,
whatever I can afford, man. Only got resources too. It'll be a gesture of respect, more in the gesture than the actual thing.
Yes, that's fair enough. Yeah.
right, if you're friendly and you prove to be friendly, I will give a secret because it's not too much of a secret. Starling, you know, she's my little sister and I have to look after her, but she has this way of winding people around her little finger. So if you get talking to her and you're like, oh, I want to go to the club, she'll be like, I'll get you in. And she'll walk right up to Newt with you in tow and get you in.
I am never not going to take advantage of a favour from a contact. It's
She's not exactly a contact.
No, but I know her and she's doing me a favour. It's like, okay, that goes in the book. I owe you one. You're a star.
She's very much a social animal, is Starling. She can be a little bit ditzy at times, but she knows how to talk to people. And she's friends with Newt, to be perfectly honest. Newt looks after her when she's in Underworld 93. And again, yeah, so there you go. And yes, Starling is clearly underage.
But she doesn't look it.
But Newt doesn't care. Bookworm is probably going to be clearly underage. But again, if Starling's going to help get him in, she can get by Newt. That's not a problem. So yes, and we've lost DK actually. He's dropped, but yeah. I want to know about
he said he was having problems with the. I just read the message from him.
Right.
He's back.
So, wow.
Yeah, background driver install. That was it.
Look at that. We can see him. We can see what sort of t-shirt you're wearing now.
Yeah, see what drivers can do. It's amazing.
We can't hear you though, but you know.
Yeah, no sound, dude.
No sound.
No sound. DK, you're on mute.
Yeah, he knows. He's working it out. I think he can hear us.
Yeah, he's just pulling silly faces.
That's his normal resting face. Nope.
There we go.
Yay! Back in the room. So, question for Bookworm.
Yes.
You are 16.
15.
15. How old do you look?
That's a great question.
Do you look older than you are? Do you look younger than you are? Do you look about 15?
I look about 15. I'm not going to fuck about with fancy kind of old man looking 15-year-olds and
no.
super childish looking 15-year-olds.
To be honest, I mean, at 15 you can look anything from 9 to 21. To be perfectly honest.
I agree with you. No, I think people look at me and go, he's definitely a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, and I look middle teens, obviously. You know, the sort of bum fluff kind of starting to come in and just.
Well, if James can persuade him to come out and he's going with Starling, Starling can definitely style him up to look older.
Yeah.
You get a makeover session. Well, 5 minutes of it.
She loves makeovers.
Oh, dude, you just got dragged into the back room
with the most beautiful
Frozen Crown
in the Redmond Barrens.
I do have to just.
And she's fussing over you with delicate brushes near your face, and she smells perfect.
Yeah.
When she leans forward, you get the lungful of her perfume, and it's like, this is great.
Well, there is something I need to just look on my couch sheet, 'cause I think I did something, which is important.
Did it make the page?
You opened it.
It's just opening. Shush.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at dog is spinning in the background. The dog just did a full 360.
Yeah, he does that. He'll now struggle getting off that chair.
Where is it? Disguise 3? Anyone?
All right.
Oh, you can look any age you fucking want.
And I'd already put in disguise self as my option, so I kind of could pass for anything you like, I suppose.
Right.
You could pass for older.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they convince you to go out with them on New Year's Eve, then with Starling's help and your own abilities and skills, then you can quite easily get in.
Magical. Then that is what we shall do.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to actually do a double take when you come out of getting ready. And it's like, hey, you the same kid? Damn, that's some good work.
He's disguised and
professionally
stylish.
assessing him. Wow, yeah, you can. Yeah, we might have bias for that. I'll talk to you later.
So in corporate run UCAS, in corporate run Seattle, one of the other things the cops realised is that restricting the drinking age to 21 means 3 years of drinking that people aren't buying. So the drinking age in Newcastle is down to 18.
Of course it is.
Sanity prevails.
Capitalism prevails.
Yeah.
That's 3 years of getting kids in pubs paying for their drinks rather than...
And then if they cause any hassle, they can make money off them through arresting them.
Yep.
I agree.
Liking this a lot. Right.
Yeah, money talks. You don't have a lot of it now, but you will find out, especially as you make money, that money talks.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
So there's actually, there's us four at least. Is there anybody else wandering
I'm not
over?
there.
We going to meet you there, or are you not going?
No, I'm working New Year's Eve. If you go to Underworld 93 with Starling on New Year's Eve, I'm not there. She sneaks out on me.
Say hello.
But you know full well if you harm her, Mr. Sunshine won't like
But
it.
the thing is that Starling will be going there.
Bodyguard.
Starling will be going there on New Year's Eve because it's New Year's Eve, but she'll also be going with Magpie on January the 1st because it's her birthday. So she'll be out on both nights. Whereas Magpie will only be out on January the 1st. You could go potentially on both nights.
Both nights, yes.
If you wanted to.
Well, the way I
Starling
think...
could persuade both of you, come out tomorrow because it's my birthday.
Oh, I'll be there.
With you on New Year's Eve because it's New Year's Eve. And then after New Year's Eve, she'll get in touch with you both again and say, no, it's my birthday. You've got to come out again.
This is a great weekend. Of course we'll be there. But for me, New Year's Eve is like a working night. There's everybody who's out. Everybody is out. I've got contacts and I've got people to see. Hearing that there's an actual proper celebration, a party that's fun rather than working, I'm there.
Yeah. So again, Cass, I mean, obviously you're going to be spending New Year's Eve at home with family and friends, but on the evening of January the 1st, you could potentially go out.
You'll know Starling as well, and she'll invite you out.
Cass, Dave, did you hear?
Yeah, I'm hearing. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I'd probably be at home.
No, that was on New Year's Eve. This is the day after.
Oh, the day after I'll be out. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah, I'd be out beck and calling Mr. Sunshine, depending on what he wants me to do.
Well, Mr. Sunshine actually shuts up shop on the evening of January the 1st. So you are left to your own devices. So if you wanted to go out with the rest of them, I'm sure one or two of them would drag you out anyway.
Yeah,
Starling will.
Yeah, I'd be out just just to see what's happening, see if there's any work available, see if there's any money to be made, that kind of shit, you know.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm not flash, I'm not rich, so living hand to mouth, basically. So,
yeah.
As most of you are.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I think I'm the fucking big spender in the group with the whole resources too.
Oh, you monster, you.
I don't remember what my resources is.
No.
And the only reason I've got that is because if I lived on the street, I'd be dressed in shit and I wouldn't be able to make my contacts and do my deals.
So you can go out, you can have a bit of a night, all of you, and then you will end up with the money that you've got in what you've paid for in resources on the beginning of January the 2nd. So you might... So, for example, resources 2, you end up with 800 new yen in cash and cred sticks. It might have been that you went out on New Year's Eve and spent some money, and then on January the 1st you spent some more money, and now it's the morning of January the 2nd, all you've got left is 800 new yen.
Yeah.
And similarly, again, if you've got resources 0, you might have gone out, you might have saved up for a bit of a night out, you've spent your money, and now you've only got 50 new yen left on the morning of January the 2nd. So when we start, that's what money you've got left after you've been out for 1 or 2 nights.
Can I get a price check in aisle 3? 800 new yen. What is your average handgun in cost? Just random. No, just so I can place it mentally on the on the scale.
Okay. One of the handouts is the price list. Have I put that one on? I think I have.
Life in the Sixth World?
I think Life in the Sixth World has got prices on it.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I think that's the one.
Is that one?
Here we go. Yes.
It's got lifestyles and everything like that.
Life in the Sixth World.
Yeah, it's one of the handout documents I posted on.
Yeah, I've got it.
So that'll give you prices. So you might.
I'm not sure it has guns though.
It will.
Oh, there's a Shadow Nova price list, which is handout 4. Did I post handout 4 up? I'll post it now.
No, I've only got 1, 2, and 3.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll post handout 4 up now. In general, on the. Let's have a look. Just give me a moment, please.
FTP or Discord?
I'll just stick it on Discord at the moment because it's probably just easier.
I think if I remember correctly with the price list, there'll be 2 listings. There'll be street price and sin price. Because obviously if you have a sin, some things will be easier to get.
Give me a moment. Where am I? Project Shadow Nova. Heralds of the Seventh. Handouts. Shadow Nova price list.
You stick it on the FTP as well?
Yeah, one moment. I'll need to fire up FileZilla. FileZilla.
Aberrant. Shadow Nova.
Second. It's not there yet because I haven't put it yet.
Oh, no, I'm being ahead of it. I'm normally the crap one.
Handouts. Connect to server. Oh, yeah, I've got to connect to the server, Lawson. Can't do anything if you don't. Right, books, Aberrant, Shadow Nova. Click, click, click. It's there. If you refresh, it's there. Shadow Nova price list.
What?
Refresh. Ga-ding! Thank you very much.
It's on both the RPG server on Discord, and I've just put it on the FTP.
Okay, brilliant. No worries.
It's on both.
You.
Weapons, firearms. Let's have a look. Barton Arms Gun Cane 500, Streetline Special 100, Tiffany Self Defender 450, Tiffany Needler 650, Ares Light Fire 475, Fischetti Security 500 400.
What are the penalties in that? Okay, you're not proficient in firearms. Is it massive penalties in that? If you're shooting in a 10-foot radius, so you're just going to miss them by 50 foot. If you've
no.
Yes.
So if you don't have a skill, you can still use your stat, but instead of needing, well, the thing is when you're shooting at things, then things normally have a dodge or a soak. So you need as many successes as possible just to hit somebody.
I'm just thinking if I'm using like a sawn-off shotgun in a room, I'm likely to hit something. You know?
I think you have to score more successes as well to actually hit if you don't have the skill or something like that. I seem to recall there is a.
I'm not looking to have any firearms skills, but at the same time, I'm still going to be able to know how to pull a trigger and point at something. You know.
Oh yeah, but your skill's lacking, so it's
for
harder.
instance, a sawn-off shotgun is a Remington room sweeper. They cost 500 new yen, and it's got yes, so you can now availability.
But these things can be picked up off people that you've incapacitated and so on. Yeah.
So what you do is you just use your dex dice. And because you don't have an associated skill, you've got to get 1 extra success. So your first success is cancelled because you don't have the skill, and then after that, so say you roll 3 successes, then it's counted as a net 2 successes because you don't.
And you might need 4 successes to actually hit them and stuff.
Right. Okay.
Seems about right.
Okay.
Normally, you only need 1 success to hit something, but then if you're rolling against a person, they might either have a dodge or a soak, or even both, and they will take off your successes. So you'll hit them, but you just won't do a lot of damage.
Yeah. But you won't do with a scatter gun at 10 meters or whatever. You won't.
And the other thing you will know about picking up guns off body, some guns are biolinked. In other words, you won't be able to use them even if you pick them up.
Okay, I'm forgetting we're in the future. Okay.
Yeah.
And if not BioLink,
Not all guns, but say you go up against the cops or security firms and stuff like that, those are likely to be biolinked.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they're going to be biolinked, they're going to be linked to
fact as well.
Normally, if you're taking a gun off a gang member, you should be able to use it. But if you try and take a gun off a policeman or a street samurai, you're likely it won't fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell you, I've got fucking Mylar bags, so that if I ever did take a gun off somebody like that, I put it in there, jam the signals, and take it to my guy.
Your guy.
I've got a guy.
You've got a guy.
So yes, just a quick explanation. I'm not going to go too much into it because, in the guns, you'll notice in the firearms table on page 18, there's a damage thing. L means light damage, M means medium, S means serious. So you're looking for high numbers, S do the most damage. So for instance, the Ares Viper silver gun does 9S because it's flechette rounds. That's a lot of damage. Same as a Remington room sweeper. That's a sawn-off shotgun. That does 9 SF as well.
Yeah.
That is a point in the general direction and say bye-bye.
Like a broccoli grenade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just say a broccoli grenade?
Yeah.
The fuck is a broccoli grenade?
I don't know.
It gives you vitamin poisoning.
That was my girlfriend's suggestion. Throw a broccoli grenade.
I like that.
My druid's going to start using one of those.
So technically, if you wanted to, you could get hold of one. Now, availability is important as well, because if you're trying to buy it on the black market, you take the longer of the two availabilities because you've got to give people time to get hold of one for you.
Yeah.
So, for instance, a Remington Runesweeper, if you get it off the black market, not only will it cost you, it will cost you 2.5. Where is it? The street index is the multiplier for the damage for the price. So, a Remington Runesweeper, for example, has a price of 500 and a 3/24, which means if you've got a sin and you go to a shop, it will cost you 500 new yen and you've got to give 3 hours notice. If you're buying it on the street illegally, it will take 24 hours and 1.0 times 500. So it will still only cost 500, but it'll take 24 hours for someone to get hold of one for you. But if you go above that for the Morrissey Alta, you notice the street index at the end is 2.0, which means it won't cost you 1,200. It will cost you 2,400 and it will take 48 hours to get. Does that make sense?
Why are some street prices cheaper than the shop prices?
Because they're easier to get. They're shit weapons.
Yeah.
You've got to remember this is corp tech and everything's advancing. So if it's hard to get and it's expensive, it's one of the more recent models. If it's easy to get and cheaper, it's an older model and stuff.
Or there's just so many of them around. So they get stolen easily and so they flood the black market, and therefore you might get a brand new one for 350, say a Beretta Model 101. Will cost you 350 if you get a brand new one from the shop, but you get a second-hand one. It's actually cheaper, but it is second-hand.
No, I meant newer, as in a newer model.
No, I'm clarifying. I'm clarifying.
Nice.
There's a lot of them on the streets, you see.
So, what's the kind of general walking around status of people? Are they tooled up to fuck, or are they tooled up but hidden?
Think Liverpool. If you have a weapon and you're going to use it, you might get it used on you.
It's like any major city. Not everyone's tooled up.
Yeah.
And where you are, normally if a policeman shakes you down and you've got a light handgun, they'll probably just let you keep it. Sometimes you go into a club and they'll allow light guns. But if you start carrying around heavy guns like an Ares Predator, you'll have to check those in at the door. And you'll be scanned at clubs for weapons.
Wow. Allowed clubs and weapons. Weapons and clubs, sorry.
Only if it's a light weapon, though.
Yeah, because some of the people in the clubs will have cyberware that the light weapons just won't touch.
Okay.
And you can't chuck in your cyberware at the door.
No. It did.
But yes, be careful, because if it's not a light weapon, there's more danger of you getting attention. If you're carrying a heavy weapon around, like an Ares or an Ares Predator 2.
So pre-Nova, what are the chances that you're going to have cyberware?
None.
None.
For you, none.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's expensive.
No, I don't want it. I don't. You know.
Basically, I think the cheapest you can get on the street and the most common you'll see in Redmond, yes, people will have cyberware.
Contact lenses.
But unless they're with
Cyber
high up mafia or high up yak, it's going to be the cheap street cyberware.
Nah, the most I want is contact lens, if anything. It's no, don't want cyberware. When I go Nova, I might, with the build that I'm thinking of, and being able to punch hyper fast and things, I don't want to be using bone. I want like titanium, adamantium sort of bloody fists that won't shatter when I'm hitting something that practically is speed of light, you know.
No, funnily enough, all cyberware for Nova is a dead end.
From where?
Is it?
It's pointless.
It's a dead end.
Right.
So cyberware is rated 1 to 3. Yeah. Nova powers are rated 1 to 5.
But would it be classed as cyberware to replace a bone with metal?
Yeah, but you've got to think you're now a Nova. Your body, having
You're
developed,
like Superman.
yeah,
You don't have to worry about punching things with your fists, because your fists are strong enough to punch things.
Okay, so the calcium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. You are extra tough for things like, if you buy a Mega Strength, you don't have to worry about breaking your fist if you've got. Thing is that cyberware can give you the equivalent of Mega Strength 3. If you've got the top level cyberware, the top level cyber arms, they're rated up to 3. And so, for instance, a piece of cyberware arm will give you the equivalent of the mega attribute. So a cyberware arm rated at level 1 is the same as Mega Strength 1. But most you can buy, the highest tech goes up to 3. Novas can buy up to 5. And if you buy cyberware up to 3, it's a dead end, because you can't then go 4 and 5. So Novas will outclass cyberware eventually when you've got the XP. Cyberware's a dead end.
I'll also mention, because I think it's something we've forgotten, and it'll be unfair if any of you have spent points in these particular abilities, but there's 2 stamina abilities called resistance and endurance, and when you go Nova, you automatically get 3 in each.
For free.
Right. No, I wasn't but my main bog standard character is just going to be bog standard with nothing. No.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about being Wolverine with an adamantium skeleton. No. There are no rules in there for that. Your skeleton will just be as strong as you need it to be.
Yeah.
Your body adapts to your power.
He will suffer from broken knuckles during the fight and whatever. Yeah, that will happen.
When you're immortal, yeah. When you are mortal, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you probably
can buy armored gloves. You can buy armored gloves. It's in the price list
I'm
somewhere.
a bare knuckle fighter.
Oh, exactly.
It's not going to happen. But, you know, it's just that...
Don't forget, as tech has advanced, so has modern medicine. So even though it's the Redmond Barons, as a fighter for Mr. Sunshine, it's likely that he will...
Yeah, of
have
course he will.
certain gels and stuff he can put on your hands.
Or he might put a few titanium plates in there or something like that, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, not titanium plates, but what I'm saying is the medication for, bruising and healing your skin has advanced.
He might do, depending on who I'm fighting, if he thinks he can make a few bucks out of it.
In gloves, yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, right, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just that my main character is totally not enhanced at all.
That would actually probably make the fights more interesting, because you got to remember, especially if people are slumming it from the high end of Seattle, the criminals at the high end, and they want to see real people fight.
I'm just a smart
That's
kid.
a draw.
I'm a smart street kid that knows how to fight. That's it. It's yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to going Nova.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, you're not known as Shadowrunners. You're not in that trade at the moment.
No.
So one of the first things you'll have to do is, when you get your powers, you'll have to establish yourselves as Shadowrunners. You'll have to start putting the feelers out that you can start taking these dangerous jobs that go to the cyber people.
And is Mr. Johnson around, or is he just...
Mr. Johnson is a corp name. It's not... You'll get contacted by a fixer who organises the job. They contact the Shadowrunners. The Shadowrunners then go to meet a Mr. Johnson, which is the court contact and the faceless
It's a fake alias.
between.
Yeah,
Mr. Johnson...
Yeah, I've played a little bit of Shadowrun, not a great deal, but...
But you never meet, you very rarely meet a Mr. Johnson more than one job.
Yeah, okay.
They're kind of...
They're a different...
You'll know fixers, and you'll get to know fixers. Fixers are stable points. But Mr. Johnson's could be... You could meet one for one job, do that job, finish that job, never see that Johnson again.
That'll be good. And I hope there's a lot of NPC characters that we can bring in, because, yeah, if we're living in Shadowrun country, then, yeah, we're going to need
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah.
We're going to need them.
For all your allies, contacts, mentors, anything that you bought on backgrounds, the more you spend time and give them names and flesh them out, the more I'll use them.
Absolutely.
And they'll be people you'll meet as well.
DK and James, have you played Shadowrun at all?
Yes, and Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I've played Shadowrun, but the last time I played it has got to be 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time for me as well, and I've played the actual computer games. I was a Kickstarter for that.
Ah, right.
So yeah, I like it. I like Shadowrun. I do. I like the whole setting of it, the whole cyberpunk thing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. Really am.
Me too. I'm excited.
So yes, get me some character sheets to me in the next couple of weeks.
We certainly shall, sir.
And then,
If you can create NPCs for your backgrounds, or even not for your backgrounds, just random people hang out with.
I'm allowed a dag.
Yes.
a what?
Could be a dependent.
A dag.
A dog.
No, a dag. I want a dag.
You could have a mutt, yeah, of course.
Idiot.
I want a dag.
I've already named my Decker contact.
Okay.
He is Neon.
All right.
He's going to be a Japanese kid. Well, no, actually, about 25. He's got completely silver hair that's got multicolored tips, and he's got the port right in his temple.
Yep.
And he's my Decker contact. My Corp contact is VP. And it's like, he's not necessarily a vice president, but that's the name he goes by when I need to talk to him.
Okay. Yep.
And a mage contact who I'm still working on.
If I can name my Decker contact, I'd like to call him Sponge.
Sponge. Okay. Yeah.
Who am I? There's one I haven't decided on, because that's when I go Nova. That's somebody I've been working to contact, and I haven't quite decided on them yet. But there's Mr. Fox, another fixer in the area, new to the area. Ripley, obviously. Mono. Mono. Big fuck off troll Shadowrunner. And
Troll Street Sam. Called Mono.
I've just
Lucius Dark.
You've got
an elf that I know through Starling.
You've got Mono Neon, who's a bass player, but that's another thing altogether.
Yeah.
There's two types of magic. There's shamanic magic, and there's hermetic magic. So your hermetic magic is very much like your D&D wizards. They study, they learn, they do it themselves. A shamanic normally does it through a totem, an animal totem of some kind. All shamanics having an animal totem. So they might be wolf spirit or fox spirit or, things like that, owl, raven. And they do things through their shamanic totems.
Yeah, mine's a raven shaman.
Although you can also have a hermetic mage, who's just like a normal sort of D&D type mage. He doesn't use a shaman, he just learns the spells and does them himself, herself, whatever. So yeah, if you've got a mage, it's best to decide whether they're hermetic mages or shamanic, and if they're shamanic, tell me what totem they have. So they could be owl, which obviously is more very good at information gathering and stuff like that. Ravens are tend to be a bit more finding shiny stuff type. Use the standard Amerindian totem guides for that. A wolf totem will be very loyal.
Badger shamans are vicious.
Badger shamans are vicious, especially when cornered. Think of any sort of potentially shamanic animal, mammal or bird, and there will be a totem that a shaman can use, and it'll help define what sort of magic they're good at and what their sort of personality trope is as well.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to playing this, to be quite honest. Really am.
I think that's about it. Can't think of anything else. So yeah, check out Life in the Sixth World. It will explain a little bit about how jobs work. You've got a price list now. The first handout, which is And So It Begins, is all history, and you may or may not need to read all of that. Probably Bookworm will know more of that than anybody else.
I'm looking forward to it.
But yes,
Ripley will be able to fill you in on all the film history.
I mean, you've got to hand it to the guys that was it Grey Wolf or whatever they were called. They certainly built a world in the Aberrant. The documentation that they produced, but God, trying to find anything that actually matters in playing the game is difficult.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. It's White Wolf. It's the same people who did Vampire.
White Wolf. That's them.
But,
that's them.
Yeah. If you open the Aberrant book up, you can just ignore the first half of the book.
Absolutely. You just
Nothing
read through it, and it's good. It's interesting, but
it has nothing to do with
doesn't help you in actually playing the bloody game.
No, it's all fluff for their world, and I'm not using their world, so
no, but, it's good that they pad it out and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's an interesting read. It's an interesting world they've got. But for Aberrant, it's more like The Boys. Is the Aberrant world than anything else.
Definitely is. Yeah.
Very similar to The Boys.
Which I think the Boys probably used that.
Do you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't take a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
The Boys is very much like the Aberrant.
Very good point.
It was written by somebody who actually hates superheroes, hence Homelander.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, he is truly terrifying as a villain. He is so fucking well done.
He's superb. I love him.
I mean, Carl Urban as Billy Butcher, fucking towering performance of the 21st century, fucking right there. But Homelander as a scary ass motherfucker. Holy shit!
It's as good as his performance as Bones.
Oh yeah.
It's streets ahead of Bones. Bones was good.
I thought he was brilliant as Bones.
That's just because of the accent. I've got to say, my Thursday night D&D character I'm playing him as a Scottish accent because it's the one fucking accent I can do. And not embarrass myself. So Welsh, it's just going to veer straight into Asian Pakistani straight away. Get lost over there.
Dear.
American, no, I'm not fucking no.
Give me your Scottish accent, for fuck's sake.
No, I'm just going to embarrass myself.
Are you ready for some sort of French-sounding German?
Spoken by a drunken.
I don't know. Perhaps I should speak with the Eastern European accent that I used a lot.
I love the Eastern European.
Yes.
Especially
I spoke it so lot at LARP that when I broke character... Yeah, but when I broke character and spoke in my real voice, a group of people turned around to me and went, "Fuck, you're not Russian?"
Come from Russia.
I actually chatted up my wife by pretending I was a Russian. I said to her, "Have you ever looked into the eyes of a potato and fallen in love?"
Fucking hell. That's a bold move, that is.
Fucking worked. It worked.
Amazing.
Many years now, I've wanted to bet somebody £1,000 that they couldn't pull somebody in a club by going up to them and saying, "Mind you, didn't sweat much for a fat lass."
No, Dusseldorf Naffy 1985, I think it was, something like that. I pulled that line and we were
awesome.
together for
So was that
1995.
1895?
1985.
Yes, he's a secret vampire. He just does this to pass the years.
Yeah. Cheeky bugger.
Yeah.
Right. Based on your information about the different magic traditions, I'm having a fucking owl totem, Native American. And he's a fan of cheesy 90s movies, so his name is Windtalker.
Windtalker, yes.
Windtalker. Street name, but also a bit of a Merrind influence.
Yep.
But I'm going to write them all up. I'm even, and I'm going to say this with witnesses and probably regret it, going to come up with quick character pics of them.
If you want research, there is actually, I can't remember the name of it now, but Seattle does have a very specific Native American tribe with a long history.
I should look them up.
So, yeah, I can't remember the exact name of the tribe.
Haida Sea Raiders, is it?
It's one of the Sea Raiders, but there's a lot of coastal Indians, so I don't know if it's Haida, but it's specifically the Seattle Native Americans that you want to be.
Duwamish.
Duwamish, that's it, thank you.
Duwamish people.
No, it's
Western
good.
Washington.
It's
Indigenous
good.
people of metropolitan Seattle.
We've certainly got a world that seems like it's dangerous.
So yeah, if you're going for Native American in Seattle, that's your best bet for building him up culturally. Have a look at their history and their
images and shit like that.
I'm just interested in seeing what kind of tasks we're going to be given.
I love the whole concept as well of, first of all, hearing the description of how you get the powers, because I've always wanted to go through that and actually play it. But also, you're the only people with powers, and it's like, oh shit, we've got powers.
But you also know that if the corps find out,
exactly, there's people over there in fucking armored battle suits.
Because there's a reason you remain sinless. You don't trust the corpse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For the first month, we're not going to have those powers.
Yeah, first amount of time, however long it is, but yeah.
No, the month play-wise, because if we're playing every 2 weeks, then
good point.
Yes, we're not going to have those powers. We're going to be
squishy,
indeed,
squishy as fuck.
Squishy, yes, and relying on our wits and whatever other conniving things that we can. I don't know, unless we kick them in the bollocks.
Well, that's your department.
I don't see them that often.
That's your speciality. I've got wits on my character sheet. I'm not saying out here. I want to roll wits because I can't think of what to do out of character.
No, I think I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. Bring it on, Lawson. Bring it on, man.
Cool. Yep, will do. I'm ready.
But be nice.
Ready to. I will be until the training wheels are off.
No. Yeah. Is there going to be a ding? Tutorial has completed.
No.
You'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
You'll know.
Trust me, you'll
when
know.
we all lose a limb.
You know, weirdly,
someone
James,
loses a limb.
Just remember, if you see the big red button with the word trap above it, don't press it.
That's it. Leave, for God's sake.
And don't forget, Mega Stamina has regeneration as a power.
Yes, it does. Guess how quickly a lot of players in the old game bought that as a mega stat.
Yeah, I look forward to
I
it.
might be starting with it.
I might be going back and edit. Oh no, I've got it. I saw it and I went, yeah, I might need that.
So
Not realizing regen was part of it.
again, before we start it all, when we do actually start the game, has anybody got a problem with me streaming it and putting it up online?
As long as I get name checked in the credits.
Yeah, everybody would. No, I'm just saying. It's not going to be seen by millions, for God's sake. But just if we're playing the game and people are watching it, has anybody got a problem with being seen
no.
online? No?
Eh.
No, that's fine.
no, I'm not too worried. No,
So where do you stream it to?
No, I could stick it on my own YouTube channel, that's all.
Once it's streamed, is it then there to be looked at again?
Yeah, if
you
everybody
can,
wants to watch.
you can choose. You can set it to just time out and not repeat. But you can set it to stay there forever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just that if anybody's into wanting to play something like Aberrant, it might be something of a tutorial that they could sort of watch or whatever.
Yeah,
Good
I
lord.
don't have a problem with that. To be honest, I mean, if you can set it so that it's available later, then it might help with clarifying things like the story so far. What happened? Can we remember from
Let's
one
go and
week to
watch
the
the
next?
video.
It would be nice to go back and be able to check things.
I'm going to
on
stay in the
video.
fucking darkness.
Great point. That's
Who said what?
I'm
How
not
did
talking
this
about
happen?
anything polished like D20 or anything like that. You know, just something. Just
Oh, no. We get it. That's great. Actually, Lawson makes a brilliant point, and I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, to be able to go and just check what the fuck happened at a certain point in the game, and be specific about it is really helpful.
As long as you mark it as 18s.
yes, I
Yes.
do.
So it'll be bad
Yeah,
language.
all
Because-
my videos are marked as 18 plus.
I mean, obviously, we'll begin the whole session every time with cunt fuck.
Absolutely.
They are the first official words of every video from now on.
No, all my videos are 18 plus. They're never
Yeah.
for minors.
So everybody choose a swear word, and we'll go round.
I want bollocks.
No, it's not that anybody's ever going to. I mean, there might be one or two people might stumble upon them at some point, but if they're of interest to see how an Aberrant game works, then,
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it'd be more useful for me. So I can go back and
Write
you know,
the story
people
so far.
write the stories to help write the story so far. It's good to have a record like that. So
Yeah.
you know, oh, what happened during this event, or what happened in that scene?
Right.
Who was there? Who wasn't there? That's perfect for me.
superb.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, I'll stick them all up on YouTube, and they'll all be available on my YouTube channel. So
Lovely. Thank you. Yeah.
okay,
Good lord.
no problem.
Drop us a link, or what's the name of your YouTube channel?
Jock get.
Drop a link.
Oh, Jockgit, of course.
What? I
Jock
missed that.
Git.
Jock Git.
I think it's Jock Get 64. I think is my YouTube channel.
Jockgit 64.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's you. I've just subscribed.
Yay! There we
Just
go.
doubled his subscribers.
That's another $100.
14 subscribers.
Hey!
$100. Yay!
I've noticed that we're being streamed at the moment.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. What a bunch of cock.
So
No, it's
asking for permission retrospectively there.
Yeah.
That's naughty. You're going to get spanked.
That's what he was hoping
It
for.
was just
I was going to say, come on.
To be honest, I'll put my hands up.
Cunt, bollocks, twat,
Just,
motherfucker.
Oh, shit. Feck, cunt,
It was
labia.
so my girlfriend. My
Have I just
girlfriend could
noticed-
chat with me at the same time. That was all.
Hold on, you're
Hello,
doing
little
Messenger in a fucking browser window, not as the real app.
So that's Linda, is it? Hello, Linda.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend, Glenn. Yeah. But yeah, it was just so that we could chat while we'll.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Because she doesn't understand all this, what we're doing.
It's just madness.
Yeah, I've been trying to explain it. It's like we're playing characters in a play. We're just fleshing out the characters, but there's no script. We're making the
It's an
script up as we
improvised
go
Monty Python.
Yeah, we're just making the script up as we go along. That's basically it. So yeah,
no,
all good. No, she says hi. Maybe
well, if it's getting streamed, I am going to permanently stay in darkness.
Is that 4 potatoes she posted? Is that
I think
a commentary on who we are?
Peanuts, maybe. I don't know.
Peanuts. Oh my god!
I don't know. She didn't explain what they were. She just put them on.
That's fantastic.
Bloody hell.
They're peanuts, I think.
Yeah, but hopefully one day I can convince her to actually join us and become a member. That'd be nice.
Hey!
But at the moment, she just thinks we're weird.
As we know we are.
Well, she used to call it, are you trolling tonight? And I says, no, I'm not trolling. I'm being a dwarf.
Dwarfing.
God, us as trolls would be dangerous.
Oh dear.
But
the other thing I loved about this game is the character creation starting as a human.
The potatoes.
2 potato words at the same time. What happened?
The 4 potatoes that she posted. I don't know why. I don't know why. She's not explained. But she's put 4 potatoes.
There's 5 of us. Who's not the potato?
Obviously me.
He's a peanut.
But I thought you were the potato she fell in love with.
Damn. Victim of the own petard.
Hoisted by your own potato, yes.
Hoisted by my own petard.
Brilliant.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Maybe she's saying she's falling for all 4 other potatoes. I don't know.
Oh dear. I'm so sorry for you.
Was James frozen? I know James was about to ask something.
No, he's there.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
James.
I was just.
No, you were.
I was aware I was talking over people.
Question, weren't you? Yeah.
No, I was just. I love the starting off as a human and create a character, and then go to a completely separate process.
Yes.
So it really made me think. So many of my powers are based off my secrets and the other stuff I've created as a human. And it's like, right, I have this thing. I need this superpower to do this for that thing. Oh, that superpower would also be good. And Lawson went fucking flicking through the book because I wanted one particular ability. And he went, nah, that one you picked doesn't do it. Nah, that one you picked doesn't do it. This one, however... And I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I'm having that.
That one does it.
And it's one of the rare occasions that it's not what is the greatest power, what's got the greatest utility. It's like, this guy wants to achieve this objective, grab this shit.
Oh, it is a nice way to do it, I think, because it's human, and you create your character, your personality, your background, your surrounding NPCs, as it were. You start to think, what powers would suit my character?
Yeah. Really gets you into it. I tell you, that's something as well that I always found about LARPing. When you are playing in D&D and go, yes, I'm going to go dual wielding. You try and do that in any kind of anything like real life, and you go, yeah, that's shit. I'm getting a shield and a really good sword.
No,
hey, shut up. I was quite a good dual wielder.
I was a fucking good dual wielder.
Yay!
Lawson, tell them I was the best dual wielding person ever.
No.
With the V-neck scar up above the
I was going to say, scars.
Yeah.
Does Dave know this
Nearly
story?
lopped his own head off.
What's that? What's that?
Oh, he doesn't know the story.
Okay,
It's
so
D&D character.
my first D&D character under Lawson was Blondel Amarath, half elf.
Right.
And I dual wielded long swords, which I held across my back and across. And due to circumstances beyond my control, I had to, at this particular occasion, roll to draw them. And I double botched. And basically nearly sliced my own head off.
He's got a big V-shaped scar.
V-shaped scar, yeah. Where he nearly took his own head off from drawing his swords too violently.
Brilliant.
What was it? Paul, one of Paul's characters, he played a monk. And he had to go downstairs, and he wanted to go downstairs fast, so he had to roll for it.
They were treacherously slippy stairs covered in slime and water.
Chocolate honeycomb stout. Oh, that sounds nice.
It does sound nice.
Sorry, I was listening.
Everyone was told, you can make your way down, but you're going to have to be very, very careful. He wanted to run down.
He was a monk
with high decks and everything, and he had to roll, and he rolled a 1. And everybody else is going down these stairs really carefully, really slowly, and the monk goes, "Ha ha!" Takes 3 steps and goes off of it all the way down. Ends up pretty much dead at the bottom.
Oh shit! Ow! Ow! Ow!
No, I've only ever done LARPing once live, and I did it dual wielding with an axe and a sword, and I was just fucking ripping through all kinds of people. It was great.
I was a skirmisher dual wielding daggers, and the best one that ever happened, because of course as a skirmisher you go in, you go out, you quick strikes, back off.
Yeah.
And I did that, and as I'm turning around, I see this monster coming towards me, pulling his sword for a good belly swipe, and I just start to roll back. And as I roll back, doing a backward roll, I hit the ground and I see the monster's sword go over me. And I see another sword go the other way. And as I get to my feet, I see our mate Lee, who's also playing a fighter, just swipe into this monster's belly. And then we looked at each other and we were like, "Rah!" and carried on fighting.
Yeah.
And that was one of my best fights. It's just...
Oh, I love
see 2 swords flying above me as I'm doing a
comes up
backward
with your
roll.
sword and you just whack it with the axe with the left hand, and then take them with this because they're open with the sword, and just walking through waves of people doing that. It was just massive. I loved it. Absolutely.
My first LARP, I spent the entire thing pretending to be a cavalier. And refusing every time anyone asked me to heal somebody, because in reality I didn't have any healing powers at all. I wasn't a cavalier, I was a necromancer. And they were illegal. That was Spirit of Adventure with you, DK.
It was, I remember that.
I got told
I'm a cavalier with my sword and my shield. Heal me. No, get somebody else to do it.
The one thing I remember with LARPing is they don't like you stabbing. Because
you're not
supposed to thrust.
Yeah, but that was the way. I was just whack, stab,
Lost.
You're dead. Whack,
All
stab,
I can say is
dead.
one thing: not afraid of D-Bob.
But yeah, I'd love to do it again, but it was a long time ago.
Spent years and years doing it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was in Portsmouth at the, the forts on the top of. Portsdown Hill.
Yeah, I do.
It was all in there. There's like miles of underground tunnels and great place to LARP. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, room 37 at the Keep.
And we had a huge, big, massive battle in the parade square sort of thing, where hundreds of people just charging it out. It was brilliant.
Yeah. The last battle,
1,000 people at the gathering in a final battle. Yeah. And I led the charge on one side and took 3 steps forward and fell arse over tip. And everybody overtook me. I was at the front, being the king. I'm like, right, let's do it, charge.
Was that
3 steps forward and went.
Was that the Landsneck charge?
Yeah, that was the Landsneck charge. When all the pyros went off.
You remember the time I was the ambassador to the Dragons, and I went over there. I had to wait until he's finished coughing up a lung. Yeah. So, Dave, I was an ambassador to another faction, and they had a technique of just the entire faction charging in a block straight at the enemy. And it was like, it's the final battle. I want to have some fun here. I'm their ambassador. So I'll go over to someone and I go, yeah, I think it's only proper, diplomatically, if I join this charge at the front. And they went, yeah, all right. So I'm charging with like 500 people behind me going, "Ah!" Fucking hell. You can see why, people got addicted to the rush.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's good fun.
I
do enjoy it.
Unfortunately, it reached a point with the final battles. It just got a bit ridiculous.
I think they were always ridiculous, but
they got to a number point of how many people were actually on the final battle.
And you can only have so many people making sure the safety and all the rest of it. So yeah. But yeah, all good fun.
Right then, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Is that
we'll call it for now.
Oh.
And
it's a day.
It's a day.
So think about any fluff NPC characters you want to create, whether they're attached to your backgrounds or not.
Fine.
We've got Mr. Sunshine, we've got Ripley.
I've deliberately tried to make my base character as basic as possible, with no fluff, nothing behind it. Just
the fluff actually adds to this game. It really does. So don't discount it.
There's going to be, as in he's a gypsy and he's going to have shady dealings and whatnot, but no, he's got no extra powers or anything apart from what he is. He's just a street
just
kid.
The people you know.
Yeah, street kid with a lot of contacts.
I was going to say, which one of the gang in Snatch is he then?
Which
one? When there's the whole bunch of them talking with Brad Pitt at the front, and there's that like 5 or 6 of them all talking about Dags. And which one of the guys is most like you?
Mickey, the main character, Mickey.
Mickey, okay, fair enough.
Of course it's going to be fucking Mickey. He's not going to be playing some bit part git.
No, Mickey.
It's more fun to play the bit parts.
No, I just liked the character of Mickey. I thought he was great.
No, he's great. No, he is totally brilliant.
So I thought, yeah, that'll do me.
Sweet.
If you can have a bit of Cassidy from Preacher
in
there as well, then superb. Yeah.
Did they ever finish making Preacher?
Yeah.
Okay, I dropped off halfway through.
No, you should watch it to the end. It is brilliant. Did you not watch where they cloned Jesus?
I didn't get that far. I've read the comic. I've read all the way through.
What? James, you're slacking.
No.
You've never played Skyrim. You've not watched Preacher to the end. What is wrong with you? Shame on you.
When they tried to clone Jesus and they cloned an idiot. And it's just so funny.
I've never seen it either. I would need to watch that.
What seasons were there?
Season 1 and 2 are all right, but 3 onwards is just hilarious. It is brilliant because that's when they sort of the church, and you see what they're involved in. It is just so funny.
Oh, the discombobulated angels as well.
Yeah,
that was early on. I love that.
Funny as, honestly, watch Preacher. It is brilliant. Yeah.
Finish watching it. I did start.
And the 6 foot tall leprechauns and things. It's just... No, that was American.
American Gods.
American Gods. Christ, I get them mixed up.
I love that show.
Yeah. No, Preacher's really good. Really, really good. I loved it from beginning to end. Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to ask you to grab dice if you can.
Yeah, I can do dice. 1 second. I open the window.
How many dice do you want me to grab?
Actually, I want a D1000 roll off you, so 3 D10s, please.
3 D10s?
For a D1000 roll.
Okay, white is the first, purple is the second, blue is the last.
Left to right.
We have got We have got Bookworm. We have got A grade. We've got Cat.
Okay, it goes black.
102.
Grey.
102 for Magpie.
It goes black.
Three D10s.
Yeah.
And what do you want? The way they roll?
It's up to you. I want a D1 for. I want a number between 1
Black,
and
grey,
5.
red.
572.
572 for Bookworm. 572 for Bookworm.
531 then, if you want to take it from highest to lowest. Yeah.
531. Right, so it's whatever's thousands, hundreds, and tens for you.
964.
964. Thank you, A grade. Done. Lovely.
Are you going to tell us what that means?
No, absolutely not.
No, that means that's the probability and how soon we're going to die.
See ya.
So good.
It's not even. He's not going to tell us what it means.
No.
He's not even going to tell us whether high is good or low is good.
No,
it's so good.
James, you forget this is Lawson.
Chat.
This is not the first game I've played where he's just said roll a dice and not told me what.
I haven't forgotten.
This is the king of the macros. He's got all kinds of shit waiting for us.
I wasn't exclaiming in surprise. I was exclaiming in disgust.
Why disgust? It makes the game interesting.
I want to know what I've rolled.
We all know that macros are little minefields waiting for you as you work through something.
Dude,
Suddenly
it's
hit a
just
macro.
it's just preparation for an all available dice spell.
I do that to the guys in
well,
D&D and they scared shitless of
Don't
it.
forget the Cthulhu game that he played with us to, where he would change whether you needed a high roll or a low roll depending on his mood. So we never knew when we rolled the dice.
It wasn't my mood. I rolled a D10.
Oh yeah, and that decided whether you needed high or low.
And then
Did you know before rolling? Because obviously your intent helps.
No, he rolled a d10 to decide
I
whether
would
it was
say
high
to
or
you,
low.
roll a D20 and I'd roll one at the same time. If it was 10 or lower, that meant a low score was good. And if it was 11 or higher, it meant a high score was good. So when you rolled your D20, you had no idea whether you were rolling well or not. And that was how I did my Cthulhu.
That's great.
That's bringing the sanity loss out in the game to reality.
So you rolled a 3 and you didn't know if that was an amazing roll or a really bad roll.
That's so mindfuckery. I hate you and I love you.
On my
How did you forget that?
I did that.
Can't you remember the game where we were rolling dice and like, I rolled a 20. Wait a minute, is that good or bad?
I don't think I was in a very legal state of mind when we were playing.
But yeah, I did that.
I'm getting flashbacks. I'm getting numb flashbacks.
I'll tell you what the roll means if you want to, but it won't help you in any way.
Oh, that's torturous. No, you have to tell us.
Yeah, I can't not know now.
I have a table of how common blood groups are, and you've just rolled your blood groups for me.
For fuck's sake.
Is high good or bad?
No, it's a number.
He's not going to say.
Well, you've rolled,
It sounds to me
plus or
like
whatever.
we're all going to get damaged and need blood transfusion.
Exactly.
Yes.
First session, blood transfusion required.
Knowing Lawson's mathematical mind, probably the mid numbers are the most common, and either end are going to be least common.
Yeah.
And
964.
Kid,
Who had the
you don't know
900?
your own blood group.
Who had the 900 number? Sorry.
Me.
James, and I had the very low number.
Sorry, James. See ya.
I'm more and more glad I chose the superpowers that I did. When we start playing, you'll see, and I'm really glad I took one specific one.
My
Also,
real
can I say-
is AB positive, by the way.
I think it's really good we're not talking about what powers we're going to take. It's all going to be a surprise and a mystery. I like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't even know what.
I have a clue to one of yours. I have a clue to one of James's, but that's because Lawson looked over and goes, "What's that power that does?" And I went, "That power."
Yes, you've got an idea of one of them, but it's nothing major. But I like it, and we're all gonna. Oh my god, you can do that!
I've got some ideas what I'd like, but I might just let the dice
I'm not going
roll
to tell
and
anyone.
decide what what I get. I don't know.
All right, the side bet is how much of a big, heavy bruiser Dave is going to be. He's going to be like Colossus or the Thing with the Hulk.
I might become Mr. Rubberman or something,
Oh, yeah, there's a Dex power, Dex enhancement that I think you can...
I know what I'd like, but I don't think I want to choose what I want to be. If it's going to be...
Well, you have to.
It's
to create your character.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to let it be on the roll of a dice, if you know what I mean.
See, one of the ways I did it last time was I actually had a list and a point system and a leave over. So I had my human character, and then I had a set of points left over for powers. Yeah. And I had a set of powers that would fit that point.
Right.
Then I picked the ones that I wanted at the end of it.
So when you go Nova, does the skills that you have as a norm, do they impact on, or are they the things that make you Nova? Or... No, exactly.
Not necessarily. They can if they want. If you want them to.
So I think when I become Nova, I'd rather it just be something. Hopefully it would help with the abilities that I naturally have, and enhance them. But I don't want to force that. If you know what I mean. I'd love it if it did, but
what I will say is.
Because I just think that's sort of like it's not you're breaking the bounds of reality if you're forcing it to become it. I think if there's a supernatural event that creates these extra powers that you have, it's not a given that they're going to enhance the powers that you already have.
No.
Well, you choose, don't you?
All I would say is at the Nova event, your character has a split second to decide what powers they want.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. Okay.
But they have literally a split second.
So
it is kind of guided by your character's personality.
Yeah, exactly. So if I'm feeling a bit down, a bit out of luck, I might want a bit more luck at that moment, and not look at.
Or you might even double down into being unlucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to stop you. If your character is a big bruiser with low intelligence, at the Nova event, your character goes, actually, I'd like to be quite bright. And then all of a sudden, you find mega intelligence 3.
I'm quite intelligent, but I'm a bit of a fighter. I'm not super strong. But during the Nova event, it would be nice to have this ability to slow down.
I've got a question which, Lawson, I don't think you'll want to answer, but I'm curious about it because it'll be revealed in play, I think. I wonder, is it the Nova event that awakens Novas? Is it repeatable? Is it the Nova event just for us? Can people go through Nova events at different times?
Which Nova event are you talking about?
Wait and see.
Yes. I can't wait to see how it plays.
Lawson, because that's exactly the same question that got asked the couple of games we tried to.
And I have started this game twice before, and both times the Nova event was different. So Michelle doesn't know exactly how it's going to work.
I strongly suspect that the Nova event will require the blood group roll.
But the strange thing is, in both previous events, someone asked similar questions to James just did. And Lawson's response was, wait and see.
Oh, man, I'm so excited!
So I have a clue as how to play this game and how to develop a character. But as for plot, as for what's going on in the background, I have zero fucking clue.
Good.
Even with the experience of playing sessions before, doesn't mean it's going to apply here. And as for what happens with Novas and everything like that,
and if anything changes, Michelle, you're moving into my mum's caravan. You're not allowed to know. All right.
So yeah, you see, you haven't all created your characters, so
well, we have kinda. It's just not fleshed them out.
You have kind of, but you haven't put points into certain things.
Yes.
And I was gonna see, the thing is that as street people, you are likely not to know your own blood group, unless you've had a trauma injury before that the doctors told you about, or you have a high enough medicine stat yourself that you found
There
out
is
yourself.
a 50-50 chance I know because of my character background.
That's what I mean. You see.
I've got it tattooed on my arm.
Not your character, though.
That's a good point with my character background, which I don't want to go into too much. Would I know? Would Starling know?
Possibly. Does anybody else? I mean, this is the thing. This is why I wanted fleshed out characters before I was even going to answer that question. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got intelligence 4. I mean, but I haven't got the medicine to go with it. So
I've got medicine 2. So
I don't think I've got it.
If one of you'd come to this screen, to this session, and said, my character background, when I was 14, I was in a horrific car accident and I had to be put back together again, and I'd lost a load of blood, and I have a doc as a contact, I might have let you know. But nobody came to me with that sort of stuff. So
yes.
Now you've mentioned it, Lawson.
Exactly.
I think you'll find.
Right.
All I'm going to say is, out of all of our backgrounds and knowing my background, I probably have the most chance of knowing my blood group. But I am going to leave it up to the DM to decide whether or not I actually know it.
Well, being a bare buckle fighter, I think it's quite fucking obvious that I'm going to know my blood group because.
No way. No, what's that got to do with it?
Don't harsh another player's blag. Come on, he was getting away with it.
I'm a bare knuckle boxer. I'm going to know what blood group I am because I'm going to be losing.
He has a fucking transfusion on it. For him, Friday night is transfusion night.
Transfusion night, yeah.
And I'll go so far as to say that I could never know mine. I'm 15. I can't even give fucking blood.
Right. So, Bookworm doesn't have a chance of knowing his yet.
So everybody,
A grade, you're unlikely to know yours yet.
Download LibreOffice, basically.
LibreOffice.
Yeah.
He was about to say whether or not you had a chance of knowing your blood type, dude.
Sorry, I was just going to say, just fill in your Excel spreadsheet and send it in. And then Lawson will have an opportunity to kill us all slowly at his leisure.
Tied to a corporation experimental nature.
Sorry, Lawson, on you go, mate.
No, it's all right. Nope, it's fine.
Yeah, that just sounds like you're first.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and second.
Yeah, fine. You're first, motherfucker.
Fine. No, you interrupt me. You talk over me as much as you want. It's fine.
Ooh.
Oh, you fuck now.
Ooh.
Dave, new beer.
Hazelnut. Oh.
I must admit, if this is going online, it's probably going to show how harsh DMs can be. No, you're not. You're not harsh. You are fair. But you know, I have learned from you. When the DM asks, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Think twice.
I was channeling Lawson's life lessons as they apply to DMing. It's what's made my current table have a Pavlovian twitch when you mention the word kobolds. You know Tucker's kobolds?
Yes.
I went to Tucker's kobolds at 11. They were like level 5 or 6, and these were 6 hit point kobolds. And they had had a lot of time to do their den and their traps. And they still, with tears in their eyes, say, it wasn't so much the fact that you did the rolling ball trap from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh my god.
It wasn't so much the fact that all the wizards in the kobolds had little peepholes. They could get line of sight, cast a spell, shut it, and maintain concentration on the spell. It wasn't that. It was the fact that there was the burning herbs in the middle of the rolling ball that gave off poisons that knocked us out before the ball rolled over us.
The first D&D dungeon I ran for DK, the first encounter, they went down a set of steps and they came to a T-junction, and there was a long corridor that ran left and right for 100 feet at either end. And at the end of one end of the corridor was a kobold barricade with crossbows, because they were currently in war with the orcs that were at the other end of the corridor with their barricade and their crossbows. And the players came down the centre and stood in the middle and went, "Oh shit!" And the kobolds were on high alert waiting for the orcs to come after them, and the orcs were on high alert for the kobolds to come after them, and the players walked down the centre of it. Yeah.
Oh dear. I remember it well.
Yeah,
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Role playing isn't fun, isn't there? As a sense of danger.
DK, what are you eating now?
Olives with what's it? I'll read them out. It says it's
olives.
Pimento stuffed olives with Iberica cheese.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No,
Ooh. I had
like
some fancy
olives.
food at the wake for my next door neighbour last Friday.
At the wake. Yeah.
At the wake. It was really, really strange because the guy was a really good guy. I was gutted when I found out he died, but I was his next door neighbour. I wasn't family or friend. So I knew his wife, who also lives next door, and that was it. It was really strange, but I wanted to go along and pay my respects. But some of the food they had at the wake, fucking hell, they had like really nice salami rolled up into a tube with cream smoked cheese in the centre.
Lovely.
And I'm like, I'm taking some of these back for later.
You robbed the wake.
I ate most of it on the premises.
You robbed the wake. Oh my god.
Look, rolled
Doesn't
up
matter how
smoky
you
salami
paint it.
with
If you
smoky
take
cheese.
food away from a wake, you have robbed the wake.
Only a couple.
Smooth.
It had to be done. It was
Not a
Duncan.
wedding.
If a wedding, we could forgive you.
Yeah.
You're an animal.
It's what he would have wanted.
Of course.
Thief is food.
Proxy body snatching, yeah. That's what we want.
Oh dear, it was a strange day.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Lawson's been trying to wrap this up for over 20 minutes and we just keep talking
Yeah,
shit.
no, he's got no chance.
No, I can hear him typing, which means he's plotting and planning.
You're trying to make a coherent team out of these people, Lawson. What are you doing?
Like I said, I already know the powers
It's
and
like-
I already have my escape plan.
Herding
Yep.
kittens. Honestly, you'd have more chance.
Herding drunk kittens.
Drunks.
Drunken kittens with epilepsy.
Don't forget the apocalypse rule.
No,
Forget it. It's fucking number one.
Lynch just said, God help you. So, yeah.
In my mind, it doesn't necessarily work the same as Apocalypse. It's the fact that you've got a random bit of quantum energy and you just use it to evolve quickly. It's not that you forgot the power, in my head.
No.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Give me a
But-
couple of weeks, we may have another member. Give me a couple of weeks.
I like to think of it as a kind of fight or flight response as powers.
Yes.
Because you've built up that energy, you're getting more powerful. You come into
Yeah.
a situation and it's fight or flight. I need this.
Well,
So,
for
yeah.
all Saga of the Exiles fans, it's a latent power that you make operant due to trauma.
There you go. Yeah. Now, I'm going to watch a little bit more of Boardwalk Empire because that's all about 1920s gangsters, and I think that will suit me down to the ground in this scenario.
Is that going to be your fashion?
Yeah, sort of prohibition kind of era gangster.
Because that's the thing about Shadow Nova as well. Your fashion doesn't have to be the fashion.
Oh
You
yeah,
can just
yeah,
have a
yeah.
style.
It'll be 3 breast suits, sort of, you know.
The waistcoat.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Trying to be
Grandad collar.
Yeah, because he's a gypsy, but he wants to look smart and look respectable. He wants to be respected, even though he's a gypsy.
You better have a bowler hat.
I do. Shall I wear it?
Yes.
Shall I wear it? Yeah, okay. I shall wear my bowler hat next week.
We were talking about your character, but real life is good too.
No, when I'm playing, I want to play in character. That's the whole point, isn't it? Yeah,
I may get dressed up in some of my kit for my character, but not the performance kit for my character.
Yeah, I was going to say, just stay in the dark, Michelle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd also like to know approximate height and weights for you all.
5'4".
Okay.
Oh, height and weight. That's a great question.
God.
Let me imagine.
Probably 6 foot 13 stone. Not massive. Just.
So wait a minute. Let's have a look. Cass, 6 foot 13 stone.
Yeah, he's not huge. He's not built. He's just...
Magpie, 5'4".
Healthy weight, but not overweight, because she won't be that well fed. She's not that rich.
Okay.
6'2" and 20 pounds lighter than Cass.
Oh, you pounds and ounces. What you like?
Is skinny and wiry. Is definitely not a fighter yet.
How many pounds? How many ounces in the pound? God, 14 in it. 14 ounces.
Yes, there are some.
EK.
I'm gonna go for a height of 5'11".
Yeah.
And a weight. What's the weight going to be? 9.5 stone. So what? 135 pounds.
God, he's really role playing this character.
I'm nailing it.
So Magpie.
DK, I need to talk to you afterwards, by the way.
Do you? Wow. Okay.
I do. I need to know what door you use.
The red one.
That's DAW, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll have a conversation.
All right. Finally, Cass, how old are you?
Cass,
Yes.
I would say 26.
Okay. But A grade?
21.
Okay. Bookworm, I know. Magpie, I know. That's it. Height, weight, and age. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Yeah, 26,
Okay.
I think.
And blood group.
Yeah.
Blood
Already
group.
done.
Yeah, blood group.
Already done. Already done.
That's always ominous,
We didn't
isn't
have
it?
a
The DM
choice.
starts the game. Right, what's your blood group? Okay. Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
There was a blood plague that hit those crippled all these people that were A positive.
Oh, God.
God.
It's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but there you go.
Right. 2 weeks' time, same place, same time. I'm going to drop, but if you want to stay on,
I'll send you the ODS or whatever it is file
Thank you.
that we'll get that sent
that'd be
off.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, cheers, guys. See you in a couple of weeks. If I don't talk to you beforehand, if you need help,
Are
let
you
me
off
know.
as well?
If you want to stay on, dude, we can chat.
Yeah, well, I am doing because I need to talk to you about a few things.
See ya.
See ya.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Even
hello.
a session 0 talking about characters was fun.
It was great. No, I take it you use Ableton or something, do you?
I use Reaper.
Oh, right, cool.
Guys, I'm going to go as well. It's been a long day.
All right,
You
mate.
take care, dude.
You take care.
See
See
y'all.
you later.
See you, man.
Yeah, I used to use Reaper. In fact,
So,
a paid version of Reaper, but it
Yeah,
ran
same.
out.
well, I've paid for Reaper 2, and I've got I think the next major upgrade is free, and then I have to pay. However, Reaper is free.
It's only about 16 quid or whatever.
Yeah, but no. Reaper's completely free.
Oh, I know, but I used to pay for the development of Reaper.
All you have to wait for is 30 seconds at the start where it says, "Are you sure?"
I do know.
And then you're in.
I do know.
It's great. It's great. Reaper is ridiculously good.
I know. But I mean, I bought FL Studio Pro.
Oh, really? Flips?
Yeah, flips. And I get all upgrades for free on that. But yeah, I have used I've used Reaper. Not a problem. It's just that I'm thinking. There's a few tracks that I'm trying to do, and I try to do the drum beats on, and there's a program in FL Studio that lets you try and use pads and things to do drum beats. But I just thought, wouldn't it be nice to have actually fucking a drummer to do it?
Well, I mean, if you want me to send you MIDI files of drumming, I can do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
I've got the kit right there, and I can. If you send me a track, and I can bash away whatever you need.
Well, it's normally covers. So if I just tell you what track I want covered, if you could give me the drums.
Well,
fantastic.
yeah, that's fine with one proviso. You got to tell me which version you're using and send me the version because I'll play to that tempo.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one track in particular. I don't know if you've heard of the band. They're called I can't remember. They're a Scottish Liverpool band. Like, oh Jesus, what are they called? Do you know? Since I've had COVID, my fucking memory is just fucking shot.
That's all right, dude.
Give me 1 second. I'll let you know. Really does my tits in because it's like not remembering your mum's name. You know what I mean? It's fucking horrible. Just can't remember fuck all.
You'll remember any second now.
Sorry?
You'll remember any second now.
Oh, well, and I'll just think, what a dick. Why didn't you remember that? Oh, Jesus. My head is just fucking gone.
What's the song called?
See, now you're confusing me.
Yeah, but does that make you think of the band name instead?
No, it's alright, I'll get it, because I've got it on Prime Video. It's one of the songs that I've played a lot. So, there's something on, not Prime Video, Prime Music.
That's the one.
Prime Music. Boosh. Boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. Amazon Music Prime. Listen now. Jesus. I hate this. I hate not remembering. I mean, one of the bands or one of the singers that I've been listening a lot to recently is a guy called Jerry Cinnamon. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a guitarist. He's
I don't know. No, it doesn't spring to mind. No,
he's good. He's like more. He's Glasgow folk music kind of thing.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, he's really good. Jerry Cinnamon, his name is. Well worth a listen, or don't listen to his albums because you don't get the oomph. Look him up on YouTube, Jerry Cinnamon, and watch some of his videos.
What's his surname again? Jerry what?
Cinnamon, as in the spice.
Jerry Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, yes.
You know you're still streaming.
Am I? Alright, I better shut that off for now. One sec. Oh.